the Steelers came back from the dead to beat Cincinnati as Mark Malone set up the winning field goal with his 45-yarder to John Stallworth. The Steelers and Dolphins next from Joe Robbie Stadium. Stay with us.
The National Broadcasting Company presents the National Football League. Today, from Joe Robbie Stadium, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Miami Dolphins. Brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Mazda, bringing performance and value together. That's the Mazda way. And by AT&T, the right choice.
Welcome to the new Joe Robbie Stadium, everyone. Hello again. I'm Sam Nover. A couple of peculiar circumstances surround this football game. You've got the #1 ranked passer in the NFL, Dan Marino, playing for a last-place team, and the second lowest ranked passer in the NFL, Mark Malone, playing for a team tied for first place in the AFC Central Division. Let's get to the X's and O's, and to do that, let me introduce to you my broadcast partner making his NBC debut today, former Seattle Seahawks linebacker Michael Jackson. Let me say publicly, partner, I love your music.
Thank you, Sam Nover. I'm bad. And for Dan Marino, he's bad for Miami. The Miami Dolphins are going to ride his arm to victory today. They have to follow the pass. They love passing the ball, and that's what they're going to do. They do that very well. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, the key to victory is controlling the ball through their running attack. Ernest Jackson leads that attack with 422 yards rushing. Let's watch this game and watch the passing of Marino, the running of the Steelers.
You talk about one picture being worth 1,000 words. The patriarch of the National Football League, Art Rooney, the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. On his right is Chuck Noll, who has won more Super Bowls than anyone else, 4. And on his left, of course, the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Don Shula, who has been to the Super Bowl more often than anybody else, 6 times, and was the head coach when Chuck Noll was an assistant in Baltimore, Michael. That picture tells it all about the NFL, the long and storied history of this great league.
Certainly a lot of power in that picture, wasn't it, Sam?
This Fuad Reveiz is putting the ball on the kicking tee. There is a substantial wind of 21 miles per hour here in Miami today, and a rather sparse crowd because of the conditions. 80 degrees, very high humidity. The wind swirls in this stadium, and you can see it just blew the ball and the kicking tee over. And it's really speculation as to how it will affect the teams in terms of throwing the football. It's hard to determine in which direction the wind is coming from. Michael and I were on the field prior to the game, and talking to Danny Marino, he is confused as anybody. This kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. The Steelers to receive. That is Dwight Stone, 2 yards deep in the end zone. Shy of the 20-yard line, falls forward to about the 21. Stopped there by Tom Brown, who is playing for the first time, the former Pitt star, number 36, as you see Mark Malone come on the field, leading the Steeler offense. Mark Malone at quarterback with Abercrombie in the National Football League's leading rusher and Ernest Jackson, the 14-year veteran John Stallworth, and the replacement tight end Danzel Lee. The offensive line, the only question mark, Terry Long, who did not work very much this week because of a hamstring injury. He is starting the game. The Steelers begin from their own 21-yard line. Jackson for nothing. John Bosa, the #1 draft choice of the Miami Dolphins out of Boston College, is there to make the tackle. He has been hurt. Made his debut last week and missed most of this week with practice. There you see the down lineman. How long Bosa can play, of course, remains to be seen. Linebacking core, the veteran Brzezinski, John Offerdahl, their Pro Bowler in his rookie year last year, making his first start of the year. A slow but steady secondary. They were burned by Jim Kelly last week. See what happens this week. 2nd down and 9. Abercrombie to the 25-yard line. Stopped there after a gain of about 4 yards. John Bosa, number 97, along with Bud Brown, the free safety, 43, to make the stop.
Bosa seems to be moving around pretty well right now. One interesting thing about this is, even still, the 2nd down and long, they're going to go with the run. That's how committed Pittsburgh Steelers are to the run, and we're going to see a lot of this all day long. Now they've got to come out with a pass. They just have to.
And Bosa comes out on 3rd down and 5. Actually, it's 3rd and about 6. The lone setback is Abercrombie. The wing to the left is Merrill Hodge. Complete. Abercrombie gets the first down at the 31-yard line and out of bounds right there. David Fry, number 53, the 5-year veteran out of Purdue, the linebacker, had the coverage on Abercrombie. But Walter got just enough yardage for the first down.
Well, he's got the coverage on him, but the Dolphins are dropping back into a zone defense. They're going to drop back and let Malone have what's underneath. They're not really concerned about him going too deep. The pass rush is not there. He's just wide open in the flat. He just runs a little out route.
1st and 10 at the Pittsburgh 32-yard line. Jackson and Abercrombie set behind Mark Malone. That's Calvin Sweeney in motion. Jackson has the ball to the 35, picking up 3 yards on the carry. Michael, it should be noted, too, that the Steelers played in an absolute gale last year in Buffalo. Malone could not throw the ball successfully. Jim Kelly did, and the Bills won. Let's look at Offerdahl now. In his first game, had a serious injury, this young man.
He's playing the inside linebacker. You see him, number 56, standing in there. He reads the trap. He comes up, takes on the blocker, and makes the play. It's a great play by him. He just steps up there and takes it on and crowds it in.
Suffered a torn bicep muscle during the preseason. This is his first game of the year. 2nd down and 7. The delay to Abercrombie. And he stumbles forward to about the 39-yard line. He'll be 3 yards shy of a first down. And again, Offerdahl, the key man in the play, and the Dolphins just thrilled to death to have this young man back in the lineup.
You can now see why Miami coaches are so happy to have Offerdahl back in there. Again, he's going to just read the plain trap that the Steelers are famous for. He steps up, he comes in there, and he plugs the hole again, head on, and makes the play again. Outstanding play. He's got to get used to that because he's going to get a lot of traps run at him today.
3rd down and 2. The Steelers go to double tight end. Theo Young, number 80, joins Danzel Lee, 84. That's Young in motion. Jackson loses a yard. And guess who it is again?
I'll tell you what, you may get tired of hearing this young man's name today, but you're going to hear quite a bit of it. Offerdahl again. You see him in the middle of your picture, number 56. He's just going to shoot straight upfield, and he's going to hit Ernest Jackson at least a yard in the backfield and make a nice play there. The Dolphins are going to have to play run defense today, and they're doing it quite well right now.
Glenn Blackwood and Scott Schwades awaiting the punt from this young man, Harry Newsom, who had a big week last week. But it is questionable as to what the wind will do. This is the first chance we've had to see. Let's see whether he's got the advantage or not. He hits a bad punt, a line drive. Schwades fields the ball at his 28. Race outside of the 34-yard line, and this young man had a nightmarish football game. And last Sunday against Buffalo, he fumbled twice. Led to 2 touchdowns by the Bills, and they won the ball game. We'll talk more about Schwades later, and we'll be back with the Miami possession in just a moment.
Bob, I need a trainer.
How about Eddie?
He's just a kid.
So was I.
6 yards on the punt return by Scott Schwades, which is a whole lot better than he did last Sunday. I was remarking he dropped the punt, and the Bills recovered and went in for a touchdown. The ensuing kickoff, when Miami had a score, Schwades, or when Buffalo scored, I beg your pardon, Schwades dropped the kickoff again. Buffalo recovered, went in for a score. An absolutely nightmarish ball game for that young man who had not fumbled the ball during his college career at Syracuse. Dolphins now on offense. Hampton and Bennett, the setbacks behind Dan Marino. That is now Bennett in motion. Lorenzo Hampton to the 40-yard line, fumbles the football. Steelers had it. Do they still have it? Yes, they do. Lorenzo Hampton fumbling the football, and let's see whether or not there is a question. And now they're going to give it back to Miami. And there will be an uproar over this, I can assure you.
Well, there won't be an uproar from the Miami fans. What you have is a simple trap. He's running in the middle. Hampton's running low to the ground, and the ball just gets ripped out right there. You see it. It is out. It is indeed a fumble, and I don't know who recovered, but it was a fumble. Looks like Dwight Stevenson got in there and got the ball back for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I don't think they're ruling that he did not fumble the ball. That was obviously a fumble. Brian Hinkle stripped the football. The Steelers thought they had it, but it's given back to the Miami Dolphins. And Michael, I think you're right. I think Dwight Stevenson is a man who recovered. Now we may go upstairs and take a look at this one. If the replay officials obviously taking a look, this involving possession of the football, and so this early in the ball game, a turnover by Miami, giving Pittsburgh this superior field position inside the 40 would be obviously a big advantage.
Well, here you see Hampton's just coming down on a simple trap. He's got the hole is wide open, but Hinkle gets his hand in there, strips the ball free. It is out there on the ground just laying for anyone to get on top of it. It looks like
David Little
got in on top of the ball, but Stevenson may have jumped in there and taken it away from him. And I think that's what the replay official is going to be looking at right now.
And while you're looking at the officials, our referee is Bob McElway, the umpire Tom Hensley, the head linesman is Dale Hamer, Ron D'Souza, the line judge, back judge Jim Kearney, side judge Ron Baines, and the field judge is Jack Vaughn. The Steelers and Miami Dolphins are 1-2 in the National Football League in the takeaway giveaway department. The Steelers at +8. That's the basic reason why they're a 4-2 football team. And the Miami Dolphins right behind them at +5, meaning they have taken the ball away from the opposition 5 more times than they've given it up.
Well, Hinkle's getting to be quite an expert at takeaways. He took 2 away last week on interceptions, and now he's got his hand in on another ball right there. You see his hand get in there, knock the ball away, and it's out there. And David Little did get on top of that ball. It's just a matter of whether Dwight Stevenson got in there.
After further review, there is a fumble recovered by Pittsburgh. First down.
After further review, the fumble counts, the Steeler recovery counts, and Pittsburgh has the ball.
Well, you can credit Hinkle with another takeaway there. Although David Little did make the recovery, Hinkle caused that fumble.
And so the Steelers with the first big break of the opportunity. The ruling is that the knee of Lorenzo Hampton did not touch the ground before he cut loose with the football, and the Steelers have it at the 38-yard line of Miami. The slot is to the right. Weegee Thompson in motion. This is Abercrombie. Inside the 35, puts his head down to the 32-yard line. They ruled that he stayed in bounds. A tackle made by William Judson, the cornerback on that side, but not before he picked up 6 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 4 as we check scores from around the league. Our 10-minute ticker, Kansas City jumping out on the Bears in the Windy City. Washington ahead of Buffalo early on. The Bills coming off that big upset here in Miami. And Indianapolis jumping out in front of the Jets. 2nd down and 4, Pittsburgh here. We are scoreless. Early moments, first quarter, first break. The Steelers on a fumble recovery. Jackson to about the 29, 28-yard line, stopped by Big John Bosa. They're going to pushing and shoving down there. Tunch-Ilkin.
They're still going to run that trap in there. The Dolphins are not doing very well defensively against the rush. They are rated number 12, I believe, but the Dolphins are going to have to stop the run if they're going to be successful today. The Steelers are just going to run that trap. You see it. That's all they're going to do all day long.
Steelers with 2 tight ends and bringing in an additional blocker in Buddy Idolette. They've got all the big men in on 3rd down and less than a yard. Young in motion. Jackson. First down, out of bounds, inside the 30 to about the 27-yard line. He needed less than a yard. William Judson ran him out on the near sideline in front of the Miami bench, but the Steelers get the first down.
Ernest Jackson, 422 yards coming into this game. He's going to just take a simple pitch from Malone and get to the outside. He's got nice blocking in front of him. He turns the corner, and I tell you what, if it's not for that tackle right there, he could have picked up a lot more yardage.
One of the biggest days he ever had was against the Miami Dolphins, not as a Steeler, however, but as a Philadelphia Eagle. 1985, 124 yards and 28 carries. So he obviously enjoys playing against his defense. Abercrombie giving ground, puts his head down, dives to about the 26, stopped by Mark Brown, who had 11 unassisted tackles in the loss to Buffalo last week. And Shula decided this young man's got to play, and he's playing for Hugh Green.
Well, he's playing from the right side, outside linebacker. He's coming down the line of scrimmage, just in great pursuit, and he gets in position to make the tackle with a diving save right there. The Dolphins are really flowing to the ball well. That's what's going to hold them up during this rushing attack that the Pittsburgh Steelers throw at you.
Gain of 2, 2nd down and 8. The ball just shy of the Miami 25-yard line. We're just underway. 9:15 to go. Malone's second pass of the day. And he dives for the marker inside the 20-yard line. It depends on the spot. But Malone, who used to have great speed, played wide receiver at one time when he came to the Steelers early on while he was a backup quarterback, but had reconstructive knee surgery and has lost a lot of that mobility, Michael.
It almost looked like they were trying to set up a screen the way the defensive line got in there so fast. He gets flushed out of the pocket. He takes off. He sees that he can make the first down and dives, as you see right there, for the first down or close to it. And you are correct, he used to have outstanding speed when he was in college in his first couple of years in the pros. It's all those injuries that take their toll on you.
In fact, you should remember better than anyone else that Mark Malone holds the record for the longest touchdown pass in Pittsburgh Steeler history as a receiver.
And
you were on the field, weren't you, at the Kingdom?
I was on the field, and we had just broken the huddle, and Mark Malone standing out on the sideline all by himself. And Terry Bradshaw snapped the ball, and we're standing there watching Malone go for 80 yards. Or I think it was
90.
You say it's 90. I still say it was 80 yards.
We'll have to check the record book. But it was a big one, and you were embarrassed.
That's right.
Less than a yard, third down. Steelers coming up third and short a couple of times in this game. That's the kind of situation they want. They have not been able to win first down in a lot of games this year. By that I mean gaining the 4 and 5 yards that they are gaining against the Miami defense today. The sneak by Malone, he's got the first down. Puts his head into the pile at the 22. He'll have the first down. The Steelers keep the drive alive following the Hampton fumble.
What's more important than getting that first down, the Steelers are doing exactly what they wanted to do, and that's control the ball, run time off the clock, and get down and get a score. They are controlling the ball. Right now, they're the dominant team on the field.
And if they push this one in, they will have again taken advantage of a turnover, which has been the hallmark of the season for them. They're now +9 in the takeaway giveaway department. That's 4 better than anybody else in the NFL. Play action pass. Throws it downfield. He's got a man. It's incomplete. He tried to get the ball to John Stallworth. John Bosa was putting the pressure on, and the coverage there was by Bud Brown.
What we're going to see here is a gimmick play. We won't be able to see it, but we're going to focus on John Stallworth. He's coming down, bumps off. He's just trying to find a place to get open. He's struggling to find a place. He's making his adjustments, trying to get the ball from Malone. It's a broken pattern. The Dolphins did a great job in jamming up at the line of scrimmage.
Charles Lockett now into the lineup. He is in the slot to the left. Second down and 10 Steelers at the Miami 16-yard line. We're scoreless. That's Lockett in motion. On the delay, Abercrombie to the 10-yard line. Picking up 6 on the carry. Stopped there by Paul Langford, and again Bud Brown, who is all over the place, the free safety, number 43.
When the Steelers go away from the run, as they did on the play before, they don't do very well. When they come back to bread and butter, you see what happens. Abercrombie just runs straight up the middle on a short delay, picks up 5 to 6 yards.
Merrill Hodge now into the lineup, number 33, the rookie, a 10th-round draft choice out of Idaho State. Abercrombie will be the lone setback in behind Mark Malone. He also has extraordinarily good hands. 3rd and 4. Malone with all day to throw the ball. Touchdown, Steelers. He got it to Lockett, number 89, the rookie out of Long Beach State. And that is Charles Lockett's first National Football League touchdown.
It's quite surprising that the Steelers would come all the way downfield, well, 40 yards downfield, and ultimately score a touchdown by passing the ball. I think that's what the crowd does not like right now. Malone gets back. He's got plenty of time on this. Lockett's running just a simple down and out pattern. He's going to find the ball right there. He has to come back for the ball, and that's why the completion was so successful. He came back, got his body between the ball and the defender, and then it was a struggle just to get into the end zone, which he did.
So the Steelers take advantage of the turnover by Hampton, push it into the end zone, and now Gary Anderson will attempt the extra point out of Harry Newsom's hold. Lockett, a 2nd-round draft choice out of Long Beach State, with his first National Football League touchdown. A young man who, by the way, Michael, is reminiscent of Lynn Swann in a lot of the things that he does. He doesn't have the great burning speed, but he's the kind of young man who goes up very high, will catch the ball in traffic for you.
Malone just has too much time. The Dolphins only have 10 sacks on the year, and their pass rush is definitely lacking, but there's no reason that he should have that much time, especially when the Dolphins know that he's going to pass the ball down there.
After
Right now they're trying to decide whether it was a touchdown indeed, and it was a touchdown. He did get across the line at the
I didn't realize there was even a question on it.
No, neither did I.
Third touchdown toss of the year from Mark Malone. Anderson out of a Newsome hole puts it up and good. And so with 7:29 to go here in the first quarter, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jackson, Sam Nover back at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. The one thing Miami probably did not want the Steelers to do was to get on the board early and allow their running game then and their defense to keep them in the football game. Gary Anderson has the ball on the kicking tee. Scott Schwades and Troy Stratford in the deep receiving spots. This is Stratford at the 5-yard line, the Boston College rookie. 20, gets loose at the 25. Out of bounds across the 35-yard line, run out on the far side of the field by Danzel Lee, one of the 3 replacement players. Let's get an update now, and to do that, we will do that in just a moment. Out of bounds at the 37-yard line. 32 yards on the return by Troy Stratford. After this play, we will get an update from Bob Costas at NFL Live in New York. So Marino has had one offensive play as Hampton fumbled on their first possession. Bennett 34, Hampton 27. Marino says heck with the run. Throws the pass out in the flat. It's Hampton across the 40-yard line. Let's now get an update from Bob Costas at NFL Live in New York. Bob?
Okay, Sam, here's Eric Dickerson's first carry for the Colts. He didn't start, but Ron Meyer did get him in there on their first possession. He gains 4 yards on this play. The drive winds up with Indianapolis getting a field goal for a 3-0 lead on the Jets. Dickerson, a Colt.
So Dickerson makes immediate impact in Indianapolis. From the 43-yard line, second down, Marino on a delay. And Hampton this time is stacked up as he gets to about the 43-yard line. To be about 3 yards shy of the first down.
That's a pretty dangerous play. That's the same play that they fumbled on their first drive. And I think the reason they did was just to give Lorenzo Hampton a little credit, a little credibility, and a feeling that they still have faith in his running abilities.
Third down and 3 to go for Miami, trailing 7-0. The former Pitt All-American Dan Marino. From the shotgun, Jim Jensen in the backfield with him. The slot is to the left. Marino throws one. It's intercepted after the deflection by Donnie Shell. And he's going to go all the way. Steeler touchdown.
That you can attribute strictly to the Pittsburgh defense. Their takeaway ratio is going sky high today so far. They've gotten 2 turnovers, 2 touchdowns off of them.
Believe it or not, in his 14th season, that is the first interception Donnie Shell has ever had against the Miami Dolphins. And as you see it again, the Dolphins continue to be shell-shocked.
He's just going down. He's playing a man-to-man. He comes back and sees that the ball is thrown, picks it off. There's nothing else to do but run it in for a touchdown. Marino can't get him. He's the last man there, and he won't want to make that tackle.
The intended receiver was Mark Clayton. It bounced off Clayton into the air. Shell picked it off and dashed the 50 yards to the end zone. And the Steelers have scored 2 touchdowns with 5:51 to go here in the first quarter as Anderson attempts to make it 14-0. It is perfect. And so the Dolphins, who were shocked last week by the Buffalo Bills, losing 34-31 in overtime, having blown a 21-0 lead, find themselves down 14-0. You're looking at a very happy Donnie Shell. That is his second touchdown this year. He had one in the loss at Cleveland, 34-10, the only Pittsburgh touchdown, in fact. You know, we started this broadcast, Michael, by talking about giveaway, takeaway. The Steelers now +10 on the season, +2 in this game alone. And they've scored 4 defensive touchdowns this season. Stratford free again to the 30-yard line. A flag is down. But Troy Stratford bringing the ball back to the 30-yard line, and the Dolphins have to be shell-shocked. Chris Sheffield is the man who made the stop, but this one may come back.
This one will come back. This is illegal push in the back or
illegal block up off the waist. Number 29 on the return. 10 yards, first down.
Former Steeler Lippert Hobley, number 29, the defensive back, guilty of a push in the back. And so the Dolphins, for them in the first quarter, everything has gone wrong.
Here you see number 29, upper right-hand corner.
Ooh.
He's just
It's not a push in the back. That's a takedown.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
In wrestling, that's a takedown.
Well, that's an offensive move, so they always get away with it for whatever reason.
From the 15-yard line, so Marino tried to rally his offense, finding them down 14-0 here in the early going. The pitch is to Hampton. Cuts it up at the 15 to about the 17-yard line, brought down by Keith Willis, number 93, along with Gary Dunn, number 96, the nose tackle, getting outside. Kansas City remaining on top of the Bears. And the Redskins, a 3-0 lead over Jim Kelly and the Bills. Houston has jumped out in top at Cincinnati. The Bengals losers to Pittsburgh, talking about a team that shell-shocked, Michael, after their blowing of a 20-10 lead to the Steelers last Sunday. And the Cardinals ahead of Philadelphia. Tom Brown, one of the setbacks now, making his NFL debut. On 2nd down and 7, Marino got a man wide open. First down to his big tight end, Bruce Hardy, up around the 37-yard line. Thomas Everett, who is also making his first National Football League start. Number 4 draft choice out of Baylor, had the coverage.
Marino gets good protection on this pass right here. Bruce Hardy's just running a seam route, which means he's coming over the middle between the safeties and the linebackers. He makes the catch and gets down there for about 20 yards.
And who would have figured 11 minutes into the game, the Dolphins get their first down?
Not me.
20 yards on the completion. Hardy with 54 catches last year. That's the most ever by a Dolphin tight end. He will be a factor today. You can count on it. Marino, a swing pass to Stratford. Trying to break away from David Little, which is very difficult to do. Perhaps the most underpublicized of all Steeler linebackers, but he is a leading tackler on the team and a very, very important football game for number 50. He was born and raised in Miami. His brother, Larry Little, the former All-Pro offensive guard of the Miami Dolphins. A very emotional afternoon for one David Little.
It's a homecoming of sorts for that young man.
James Pruitt into the lineup now for the Dolphins. 2nd down and 7. They're at their own 40-yard line, trailing 14-0 to the Steelers. Stratford trying to get outside, crawls to about the 42-yard line. Tim Johnson, the rookie out of Penn State, is the man who made first contact. And so Marino now in a 3rd down and 6 situation. Unable to run the football against the Pittsburgh defense, and they certainly play the run better than they do the pass, although they have had a vastly improved secondary with the addition of Delton Hall at the corner. 3rd down and 6 for Miami to keep the drive alive from the shotgun. That is Pruitt in motion. Marino complete to the Pittsburgh 45-yard line. He completes it to Mark Duper. Let's quote quickly now to New York. Bob Costas at NFL Live for an update.
All right, Sam, the Chiefs had a surprising 14-0 lead on the Bears after a pair of Bill Kenny touchdown passes, but then Chicago comes to life on the kickoff following the second Kansas City touchdown. It's Dennis Gentry galloping 88 yards for the score, and now the Chiefs' lead has been halved to 14-7.
Okay, Bobby, thank you very much. 13 yards on the completion. Steelers lead at 14-0. Moving into Pittsburgh territory for the first time today. Lorenzo Hampton for 10 yards. Tripping and stumbling his way and hurdling his way to the 35. Thomas Everett made the tackle secure, but not before Hampton picked up 10 yards and very close to another Miami first down.
Something very interesting about this run here. It is another form of trap, and Lorenzo Hampton runs right up the middle and picks up about 10 yards on the play. But one thing that I've noticed over the years that I played, when you play a team who traps the ball, runs the trap a lot, you can run the trap on them because they don't expect you to do it.
Roy Foster, the 6-year veteran out of Southern Cal, opening a gaping hole for Hampton. First down, Miami. And the Dolphin offensive machine on the move, averaging 28 points a game. Hampton has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide at the 31-yard line. He is brought down right there by Brian Hinkle, the outside linebacker, number 53.
Hampton on this play runs a little circle route, which means he's coming out of the backfield. He's just going to run a half circle and pull up short. Marino gets the ball to him. Hampton finds himself in quite a quandary. There's nobody near him, really. Everybody's closing on him, but there's nobody near him. He's just dancing around, ends up picking up 5 yards, but he could have picked up a lot more had he gone upfield.
Hinkle, by the way, had a Pro Bowl season last year, but did not go to the Pro Bowl. He is underpublicized in terms of his counterpart on the other side, Mike Merriweather. 2nd down and 5, Miami. Marino with all day, throws underneath. Woody Bennett inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line, tripped up again by Hinkle, and that is another Miami first down, but Marino is shaking his head somewhat in disgust, Michael. Confused, perhaps, Steelers using something that he might not have expected.
I think they may be. Marino drops back. He's getting good protection. You see number 91 come into the picture, and he's the one who causes Marino to pull up short on that. Bruce Hardy had gone straight down the field, and in fact, he was open, but that quick flash by number 91 caused him to go underneath to Woody Bennett.
So the Dolphins with another first down. I believe I had it spotted inside the 15 before. It's actually the 24-yard line. The pitch to Stratford, and he gets to the 20 this time. Brought down by Hardy Nickerson, another Steeler rookie out of California, their 5th-round draft choice. Woody Bennett leading the way, a gain of about 4 yards on the carry. So the Dolphins using a mix of the run and the pass here on this drive. And we've come to the end of the first quarter. Active coach in the National Football League on your left, the 3rd winningest coach in the NFL.
No versus the Dolphins, 3-7. That's quite surprising. Shula versus the Steelers, 8-3, and then head-to-head, Shula leads that 7-3.
And he used to be Noel's boss in Baltimore. Marino now on 2nd down and 7. Throws very close to the first down. Nickerson making the stop on Tom Brown, the rookie out of Pitt. Very interesting story. This is Tommy's NFL debut. He has been hurt. Hasn't had a chance to play before now, but Shula loved him in training camp, and his older brother John Brown caught the winning touchdown pass in the 1982 Sugar Bowl for the Pitt Panthers over Georgia. You know who the quarterback was?
Dan Marino.
Dan Marino, who is now his quarterback, his younger brother's quarterback with the Miami Dolphins. So the Brown family's got a nice connection to Marino. First down at 10. They got enough yardage. The line of scrimmage is the 13-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Dolphins trailing 14-0. Marino back to pass on first down. At the 10. Good spin move to the 5-yard line by Lorenzo Hampton. An excellent move inside the 5. Donnie Shell made the stop along with Delton Hall, the rookie out of Clemson. But a wonderful move by a former number 1 of the Dolphins.
Lorenzo Hampton did make an outstanding move right there. He's coming out to the flat. He's coming all the way across the formation again. Marino's tracking him the whole way. He gets the ball and then watch this quick spin move. That picks up another 3 yards right there. In fact, that picked up another 6 yards, that move right there, and puts him just barely inches away from a first down. But Marino seems to be a little bit impatient. Talking to Shula at practice yesterday, he said that Marino will take what the Steelers give him. If they blitz him, he's going to go deep. But if they go zone, he's going to take the underneath stuff.
You know, I mentioned a few minutes ago that maybe the Steelers are doing something to confuse him, because I saw him shake his head in disgust. You know what? I just realized it isn't the Steelers so much as it is maybe that wind that we talked about. He hasn't come to grips with the swirling wind on the field yet.
I don't think he has either. That may be the big factor. I believe that if he keeps the ball straight like that last pass, if the ball can get there in a zip fashion, the wind will have no effect on it. But if he has to go deep, it's going to be an effect on it.
Inches shy of the first down, which is really a gift to Miami because it's an extra play for him here. 2nd down and inches. Instead of 1st and goal to 4, they've got 2nd down and inches at the 4-yard line.
There's a timeout called by Dan Marino. There must be something that the Steelers are doing to confuse him, whether it's in their alignment or in the defenses that they play.
And Don Shula had just sent Jeff Dallin back as an extra lineman into the lineup. The 3rd-year man out of Wisconsin and the double tight end. So he's going to try to bull this one in on the ground. Will return.
Next Sunday, the NFL plays here when the Raiders battle the Vikings.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL Live.
Welcome back to Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. It is not very sunny. It's not very pleasant, in fact. The natives can't be happy with this, and I would think there are a lot of no-shows since this game is being televised in South Florida. The blackout was lifted when they exceeded the sellout. Dan Marino with a 2nd down and inches. He's at the Pittsburgh 4-yard line. One setback behind him. He got his receivers back in there again. That's maybe why he called the timeout. Bullying his way Tom Brown to about the 2-yard line. They had come out with a running offense with the double tight end and the extra lineman and Dellenback, but he called the timeout and went over to Shula, and I think he probably asked for his receivers back in there again. It's now a first down as they get inside the 2-yard line, and so the Dolphins had the free play there to go for the end zone.
Well, they had the free play. That's a very surprising formation they just came in. They had Duper, Clayton, and Schwades all in there. So that was their passing set.
Now with the twin tight ends. Tom Brown, the lone setback. The wing to the left is Woody Bennett. That's Bennett in motion from the 2. Brown gets the call straight ahead to the goal line. He is stopped shy. Gary Dunn on top of the pile along with Donnie Shell. It'll be second down and goal from inside the 1-yard line.
Dunn comes off the corner and makes this with Donnie Shell. A nice tackle. He stacks it up. Dunn, you see number 67 in the middle of the screen. He's going to shoot straight through the middle. Actually get blown out and then come back around and make the play, but nonetheless he gets the job done.
This Miami offense, which is 5th in the National Football League, ostensibly because of the pass. They're 4th overall in the pass, but only 12th in rushing the ball, which is somewhere in the middle of the pack. Second down and goal. Brown again, he didn't get there. Steeler defense coming alive. Edmund Nelson, number 64, and David Little along with Keith Willis. And they throw the rookie from Pitt back shy of the goal line.
You know, we've had some surprises so far in this game. Dan Marino, again, he's going to run the trap right in here to Brown. Brown gets met at the line of scrimmage by a whole host of Steelers. The Steelers are going to try to keep him out of the end zone, obviously, but they scored via the pass and an interception, and now the Dolphins appear to be trying to run the ball in, something different than what we expected.
They've got the ball spotted now back at the 2-yard line. Steelers trying to get a defensive signal adjustment called by Donnie Shell. Some motion, play action, Marino. Touchdown, Miami. No! Yes, I thought they had disregarded the touchdown. I thought they waved it off. Bruce Hardy gets the score. So Marino with some play action goes to his tight end Bruce Hardy, and the Dolphins are on the board.
Again, you see the play fake there by Dan Marino. He throws the ball. I thought he was throwing it to Hampton. It zips right past him, but Bruce Hardy's there, and he makes the catch for the touchdown.
Couldn't really see whether or not he had dropped the ball right at the goal line, but the official rules that he made the clean catch. And so the Dolphins, well, it's like pulling teeth for them to get on the board in this game with 11:17 to go second quarter. And Fuad Reveiz will attempt the extra point. The placement by the veteran quarterback Don Strock, and the kick is up and good. So we've got a 14-7 football game, but the Dolphins know they're in a battle. 14-7 will return.
Today's game is brought to you by Chrysler Motors and its automotive divisions, working together to be the best. By McDonald's, it's a good time for the great taste. And by Coors Light, the silver bullet. There's no slowing down with a silver bullet.
$85 yards, 15 plays. Marino, 9 out of 10 for 70 yards. Completed 8 in a row thus far. And, of course, the touchdown pass to Hardy. We'll get a chance to look at it again. And from a different angle, you'll see that Hardy did make the clean catch, but he had his back to the camera initially, and it was very difficult to see whether he might have dropped the ball and then used his body to cradle it against the ground. But it is a touchdown for the Dolphins, and they're on the board. Fuad Reveiz to Dwight Stone. Stone at the 7-yard line. Gets outside. 25, still on his feet to the 27-yard line. Brought down there by Scott Nicholas, one of 3 replacement players that the Dolphins have suited up for this game. And let's go back and look at the touchdown again, Michael.
You're going to see Bruce Hardy just running right 2 yards inside the end zone. He's going to make the catch. He cradles it with his body, then turns over. He's already got the catch. His knees are down. He's in the end zone. It is a touchdown. And the officials ruled correctly on that one.
And a reminder to our viewers, we'll be selecting the Budweiser MVP for today's game at the conclusion of the game. Steelers lead it 14-7. Mark Malone first down at his own 27-yard line. He's got Jackson 43, Abercrombie 34 behind him. That's Abercrombie out of bounds as he crosses the 30 to the 31 or 32-yard line, run out by Jackie Shipp, the 4-year veteran out of Oklahoma who's had a pretty good season. As we check the 10-minute ticker once again, New England on top of the Raiders. And the Skins have increased their lead over Buffalo. Kansas City hanging in there. Indianapolis with Eric Dickerson. What do you think of that deal, Michael?
Hey, I still don't understand what happened there. I don't know who's where and who went where.
I can't believe there's any one player in the world alive who is worth 3 number 1s and 3 number 2s, and that's what the Rams end up with for Eric Dickerson. 2nd down 5. The screen incomplete. Intended for Abercrombie. Soche had the pressure on. Was that Bosa over there who broke up the screen?
Over there.
It was. The rookie out of Boston College just made a great defensive play.
He just about got his first NFL touchdown, too, because if that pass had been thrown just a little bit lower, he'd have gotten it. You see, he's coming in the middle of your screen, number 97. He gets pushed to the outside, reads that there is a screen, so Shea is right there in Malone's face. Bosa makes an outstanding play to make sure that ball is not completed and that it doesn't go anywhere.
Bosa, with a very deep thigh bruise, came back to the lineup last week. Was not really known whether he'd play much this week. 3rd down and 5. Steelers are 4 out of 5 in 3rd down conversions. Abercrombie. He's out of bounds at the 40-yard line. He has, I believe, depending on the spot, another Steeler 1st down. Brian Soche ran him out, but the Steelers now perhaps 5 out of 6 in 3rd down conversions.
You can attribute this 1st down to number 74, Terry Long. He's leading Abercrombie. Abercrombie running right into your living room screen, and there's a nice block by Terry Long. He's holding someone, but it's still a nice block, and he gets into the 1st down.
This is a team, the Steelers, who have converted 3rd downs at the rate of only 39%, and today they're 5 out of 6. That's incredible. That's why they lead it. One of the reasons why they lead 14-7 from the 40-yard line. It was good enough for the 1st down. Jackson. Offerdahl drags him down from behind. 2nd-year man out of Western Michigan, went to the Pro Bowl in his rookie year, and with a torn bicep muscle in the preseason, coming back to play his 1st game of the year, and obviously badly needed by the Dolphins.
If Offerdahl does not make this play at the corner, then Abercrombie is off to the races. He made a touchdown-saving tackle just then.
Frank Pollard in the lineup now, number 30 for the Steelers. He missed last week with a hip and back ailment. He wears number 30. 2nd down. Malone wants it all. Underthrown it. Caught! Calvin Sweeney out of bounds at the 24-yard line. But a penalty flag is down, and it may be holding against the Steelers. My, oh my. Holding against Pittsburgh. What a great adjustment on the ball Calvin Sweeney made. Having a chance to start.
You talk about 65.
Talk about bad luck.
Offense. Still 2nd down.
I believe he said 65, Ray Penny.
Ray Penny gets called for that one. You talk about bad luck. There's times when you hate to see your quarterback underthrow a ball. Malone flagged that one. He pump faked it and then went deep on it. And unless that ball's underthrown, it's going to be intercepted. In the stats tomorrow, Michael, this will be shown only as a 10-yard penalty, but it's actually a 46-yard penalty. It negates the 36-yard completion to Sweeney, tack on the 10 yards, and the Steelers with a big play, and they play for big plays. They're not the kind of offense like Marino where they can explode on you constantly. They look for the opportunity to make a big play. That was one of them. It's negated by the holding penalty. It is 2nd down and 18 Steelers. Swing pass Malone. Pollard to the 34-yard line. Brought down on the far side of the field by William Judson. He picks up a little yardage. Gets it back near the 35. It'll be 3rd and long now for Pittsburgh. Basically, all you got here is a swing pass. Malone's going to come back, dump the ball off to Pollard. He's got a lineman out in front of him, but the defense just reacts so quickly. Everybody comes in. Judson makes the big hit for the tackle. 3rd down 15. The Dolphins using 6 defensive backs. The Steelers with Pollard and Merrill Hodge on the wing to the left. Malone intended for Lockett. It's incomplete. It'll be 4th down, and now Harry Newsome will have to come on and do some punting. 31 yards on his first punt. However, one play later,
Lorenzo Hampton fumbled. The Steelers pushed it into the end zone and had a 7-0 lead. And Scott Schwade's now in single safety, the young man who had the nightmarish afternoon against Buffalo. But he's come back here and returned the initial punt 6 yards. Standing back at his 20-yard line as you look at Harry Newsom. 14-7 Pittsburgh, 9:12 to go first half. Good high punt. Schwade's at the 16. Trying to move away. Gets through the first wave into about the 24-yard line. He is brought down by Brian Blankenship, one of those replacement players who made the team, along with Tyrone Stowe. So the Miami Dolphins have it back again, trailing 14-7. They scored last possession. Let's see what they can do this time. Michael Jackson, Sam Nover back at the Joe Robbie Stadium. We thought you'd like to see Michael do the moonwalk. Can you move? No, I'm kidding. This is not the same, you know. We just got word that Tom Brown, the young running back, has re-injured his knee, and we don't know whether he's going to come back or not. But you set this football game up as a Steeler running game against the Miami passing game, and the Steelers have really been able to hold the football by running the ball effectively.
Well, they're going to run the ball effectively against this defense that the Dolphins throw at them. And what the Dolphins have gotten themselves into is a position where the Steelers can still afford to run the ball. Now they don't have to get back there and pass. They're going to run and run and run.
Greg Carr making the stop. It is second down now for the Dolphins. Lorenzo Hampton, 27. Woody Bennett, number 34, are the setbacks. It is second down and 11. The ball is spotted at the 20, let's call it the 23-yard line. And Marino now apparently moving into the wind. I say apparently because it's very difficult to tell how it's swirling around. Good strong run. Stratford is the ball carrier, not Hampton, across the 30-yard line. Thomas Everett, the rookie out of Baylor, is the man who made the stop. Everett is a very interesting story as you look at Troy Stratford, former Boston College running back. Everett missed all the preseason games. He was a phenomenon in training camp, but missed all the preseason games and is making his NFL first start here.
These are just basic trap runs that you're seeing here. There must be some wind down on that football field because Marino is not going deep, and I think he can go deep, especially on Delton Hall, and he hasn't even attempted to do that right now.
Third down and 3 for Miami, and they run it this time as he gives off to Jensen from the shotgun, and he got the first down as he crossed the 35-yard line. Brian Hinkle was not fooled. He simply couldn't get there quickly enough as he was back in pass coverage. But a good play by Hinkle, although Jensen got the necessary yards to keep the sticks moving.
Jensen's having his best year ever. He's gotten 10 receptions this year. I think his career mark is about 14, and he's got 10 this season already. So he's having one heck of a year for himself.
From the 36-yard line, Miami Dolphins first down and 10. Marino has been relegated to the short passing game and the running game today. An audible at the line of scrimmage, and he fires the ball out to the right flank. It's caught by Mark Duper, number 85, and he's very close to another Miami first down. He went down at about the 45-yard line. Again, Everett had the coverage, but the audible called by Marino at the line of scrimmage.
This is a simple slant pattern. Marino just takes 3 steps and fires the ball right over the linebacker's head between the corners and the linebackers. Duper's there for a 9-yard gain. Simple pattern.
It is second down and about 1 for the Dolphins. They trail it 14-7 on a moving clock, 6:20 to go. Second quarter. Bruce Hardy now comes a strong side to the left, and Woody Bennett is the wing to the left. Stratford is a lone setback. And Stratford bullying his way. I think he got the first down as he crossed the 40. All he had to do was get a little over the 46-yard line. There's a real good matchup going down there in the middle of that line. Dwight Stevenson, the all-pro center, against Gary Dunn, who played his college ball here at the University of Miami. And we'll get a chance to look at how they're doing against each other.
Well, you've got strength against strength right now. Dunn and Stevenson, 2 of the biggest names in football right now. Stevenson just makes the position block on him. He gets over there, gets his hand off of him. You can tell he was holding because he pulled his hands back like, not me, Judge. I didn't do that one.
I think Dunn was at a disadvantage. He got double teamed there. First down, Miami now at their 47. So the Dolphin machine is rolling very slowly, but they are rolling inexorably toward the Steeler goal line. A good tough run for 5 yards. Again, Troy Stratford, the ball carrier. David Little making the stop. However, Michael, it needs to be said here that this is what the Steelers wanted to do. Make the Dolphins get it piece by piece if they were going to get it at all. They got bombed out here. The AFC Championship game of '84. They came with the blitz, the pass rush and all. They threw caution to the wind and they got blown out of the Orange Bowl. In '85, they came back. They used a different psychology. They played 7 people back in pass coverage and they lost the game, but only 24-20, and they're doing more of that kind of thing today. Second down 6. All day for Marino. Throws it out. It's caught on the near sideline. Another first down to Duper, the 6-year veteran out of northwestern state of Louisiana. And you can hear the crowd now screaming for Duper. Delton Hall, the rookie, had the coverage, but the Dolphins move the sticks again with a first down. 4:41 left in the first half. 14-7 Pittsburgh.
One thing about Marino, you cannot let him sit in the pocket as long as he sits here just now. He's got time to read the whole field, and he finds where Duper is. Duper comes back to the ball again. He's just going to get the first down and get out of bounds. But he has so much time, Marino did, that he can afford to sit back there and look over the defense, and he will pick you apart eventually.
First down from inside the Pittsburgh 39-yard line. This is Bennett in motion. And the pitch is to Stratford. Good block out there to the 31-yard line. Got a great clear-out block on the far side. I think it was Bennett, the man who went in motion. Greg Carr is the man who finally made the stop, but not before Stratford picked up substantial yardage.
Again, the Dolphins are going away from their game plan. They're using the pass to pick up the first down, and now they're using the run to set up the pass, something that I've never seen them do. Basically, they just come out and start throwing the ball on you until you stop.
Second down and 2. Steelers have never won in Miami, not during the regular season, that is. Pittsburgh fans will remember they won a couple of Super Bowls down here. And Stratford trapped behind the line of scrimmage by Donnie Shell, the perennial all-pro strong safety in his 14th year. Big play for the Steelers, forcing the Dolphins now with a third down as we continue to check scores around the NFL. The 10-minute ticker. Nothing new there. I think those scores were the last time. Aha, Jets get on the board against the Eric Dickerson Indianapolis Colts. Does that sound weird?
That sounds like he owns half that team at least, wouldn't you think?
And New Orleans now on top of Atlanta, 14-0. Third down and 2. And the 30-second clock now a factor for Marino. He better hustle here. Just gets it off. Throws it, and it's dropped at the 25-yard line, intended for his reliable receiver, Jimmy Jensen. 7-year vet out of Boston U. It is 4th down.
Now here comes the big decision time.
Indeed.
Big decision time now. A lot hangs in the balance right here. This could be the turning point of the game. If they pick up the first down and go ahead and get the touchdown, then it was a great call by Shula to allow Marino to go for it. But if not,
that incompletion breaks a streak of 11 straight completed passes for Marino, and the crowd asking Shula and the Dolphins to go for it. I don't think he's got a choice here. The wind appears to be coming from that direction. It would be 47 yards into the wind for Reveiz. So on 4th down and 2, they've got Marino back in the shotgun. Big defensive play for the Steelers here, trying to hang on to their 7-point lead. Almost intercepted, but it is incomplete. Mike Merriweather with a big play. The pass intended for James Pruitt, and the Steeler defense has held at the 30-yard line. 3:11 to go. Here's the 4th down play by Marino again. Michael, why didn't it work?
Dan Marino had an opportunity to run for 2 yards. You see that big wide opening in front of him, but he elects to throw the ball down the middle, and Mike Merriweather makes an outstanding play to get a hand on it and knock it down. This could be a turning point in the game, though, because they did not convert.
Abercrombie 34 and Pollard 30 set behind Malone. First down and 10 at the Pittsburgh 30-yard line. This is Abercrombie for maybe a half a yard. Well, Lockwood was there. So was Bob Brzezinski, the 11-year veteran out of Ohio State.
The Miami defense has got to play inspired football from here on out. The Pittsburgh Steelers are starting to feel like they can do what they want to against the Dolphins as long as they don't give up a touchdown. And right now that is true. They're controlling this ball game.
If you joined us late, the Steelers jumped out to a 7-0 lead. Malone to Charles Lockett, 10-yard touchdown pass. They made it 14-0 when Donnie Shell picked off a deflected pass, returned it 50 yards for the touchdown. And then Dolphins finally got it in the end zone early in the second quarter. Here's 2nd down and 9. Malone, incomplete. The defensive play made by William Judson, intended for Lockett.
That was a veteran play. Malone had plenty of time. He spotted his receiver on the sideline. He goes to him, but William Judson just makes an outstanding play on that. You see, he's breaking on the ball just as soon as the receiver is. He gets up there, gets a hand on the ball without coming over the top of the man. He does it without interfering with him, so the officials have no choice but to say it is incomplete.
3rd down and 9, Pittsburgh. One setback behind Malone, and that is Abercrombie. The slot to the right is Stallworth. He's got Lockett out wide to the left. 2.5 minutes to go in the half. And Lockett, a sliding catch. Do they give it to him? They're spotting the ball at the 48-yard line of Miami.
I think they did give it to him. That surprises William Judson, who had the coverage on him again. Here you see Judson. He's just trying to keep him from getting on the outside of him. Gets behind him. He makes a nice move on Judson. Then he slides in there. The only way he can catch that ball is to get underneath it. The crowd doesn't like it, but I think he did catch that. They're going to, I think he did catch that.
Why do all these plays have to be made with their back to the camera, huh?
Oh, we can't get the camera angle on everything.
21 yards on the completed pass. We have reached the 2-minute warning. The Steelers, well, to take a look at it a second time, you'll see that Lockett made the great catch here.
He gets his hand down on the ground, and the ball is allowed to fall right into his arms. He's cradling it, so it looks like the ball hit the ground, but in fact, it did not. He made a nice catch that time.
Charles Lockett starting to realize some of that enormous potential that made the Steelers draft him 3rd overall in the draft of last year. Outstanding young receiver Charles Lockett, number 89. Steelers with a 1st down, 2 minutes to go in the half, leading 14-7. Trying to put something else on the board here. Abercrombie slipped and went down as he got to the 46-yard line, although the pass from Malone was a wee bit behind him instead of leading him down the sideline. Coming up at halftime, don't forget the continuation of that exclusive interview that Bob Costas has with Bo Jackson, part number 2 of the interview, plus scores and highlights of other games around the National Football League. That's NFL Live at halftime for you with Bob Costas in New York. 2nd down and 8 now. Malone with plenty of time. Throws it on the near sideline, and misjudging the play was Judson, I believe, or Langford, and the pass is completed. Calvin Sweeney, Langford jumped in front of him and actually ran past the ball.
That's the 2nd time that Malone has underthrown a receiver, and the same receiver, in fact, Calvin Sweeney, you see here, he's throwing the ball outside. The ball is behind Langford. Calvin Sweeney goes all the way behind him and then makes the catch.
What a great play by Calvin Sweeney. We'll be back. Steelers continue their march.
But quarterback in this instant, and giving Sweeney a chance to come from all the way around Langford to make the reception.
So the Steelers leading 14-7, now looking for more. 1:06 to go in the half. They have a 1st down at the Miami 24-yard line. Complete to Abercrombie. Inside the 15, puts his head down at the 12. Bud Brown and Blackwood combined to make the stop, and Offerdahl is also there, but it's another 1st down. The Steelers move the sticks, and a timeout, I believe, is called with 57 seconds to go in the half, and Mark Malone to the far sideline to talk with his head coach Chuck Noll and the Steeler offensive coordinator Tom Moore. So the Steelers would appear to have the Dolphins right where they want them here in the 1st half.
It appears so. On that play, they had Walter Abercrombie lined up as a wide receiver. He just runs down, runs a button hook pattern, makes the catch for a 1st down. The Steelers are trying to punch this one in. They don't want to go in just up by 7. They want to go in up by 14 or 10 minimum.
They were 7-point underdogs coming into this footy. The National Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Miami Dolphins and the National Football League is prohibited. From the 12-yard line, 1st down, Malone. Abercrombie could not hold on to it. At the 2-yard line, Brown was there again, number 43. Incomplete, stops the clock with 51 seconds to go. 2nd down, 10 Steelers.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are running. They're releasing 4 receivers on this last pass route, but Malone tracks 1, and that's Abercrombie. You see him facing him, staring him down the whole way. Abercrombie makes a great move on the inside to get inside, but the ball's just a little bit overthrown. They're releasing 4 receivers, but Malone's tracking 1. He just has 1 in mind.
Lockett has had his big day today because Lewis Lips is injured and out. That's how he got a chance to play. Malone plenty of time. Throws it into the end zone, and it's incomplete. He had Calvin Sweeney. Look at Sweeney. He was all alone for a moment. If Malone had released the ball a second or two earlier, it would have been 6 points, but Brown with a good defensive play.
I don't know who's more upset, Malone or Brown or Sweeney. Malone's running out of the pocket. He throws the ball. He thinks he's got a good lead on it. It is a little bit behind. And again, maybe the wind is blowing that ball back towards the left side of the field. There's something going on out there because that ball should have been thrown complete, I feel.
3rd down and 10. The Steelers 6 out of 8 in 3rd down conversions. Malone now moving some people around. He's trying to get a man off the field. He better hurry up. Sweeney dashes off on the far side, and the Steelers are forced to use a timeout.
No, the Dolphins called it.
Was it Miami who called it?
Miami called. I think they got scared when the Steelers lined up with 12 men on the field.
Yeah, I would too. I saw the 30-second clock down to 7, and the Steelers had not sent their offenses yet, and I thought perhaps Malone had called it, but I beg your pardon. You're right. The Dolphins called the timeout. So it'll be 3rd down and 10 to go for Pittsburgh at the 12-yard line as the Bears have finally caught up with Kansas City. And the Raiders coming back against New England, the Redskins.
Well, don't count Buffalo Bills out yet.
With Jumbo Jim Kelly.
That's right.
Indianapolis still on top of the Jets. Highlights of all of these games coming up at halftime. NFL Live with Bob Costas. Saints in a runaway over Atlanta. Steelers go to Kansas City next week, and Miami must go up to Riverfront Stadium and play the Cincinnati Bengals and Boomer Esiason, which will be no easy task. Trip receivers now, Stallworth, Sweeney, and Lockett. I was mentioning Louis Lips a minute ago, Michael. The fact that Lockett has a chance to play. Lips was harshly criticized by the Steelers' strength and conditioning coach this week, Walt Evans, for not being in shape coming off a strike. He has a hamstring injury. 3rd down. Malone pumps. Caught from behind. Gets away. To the 5. Dives. Touchdown, Steelers.
Malone is so strong. He's going back to those college days right now. He's still a young Tiger. He can get outside and run in there. He knows that he has a chance for a touchdown, but he also knows that he may get blasted at the end zone. He dives in and makes the play. That's the one thing that the Pittsburgh Steelers have over the Dolphins is a mobile quarterback.
What an unbelievable week that young man has had. Last Sunday, they almost booed him, not out of Three River Stadium, but out of the city of Pittsburgh altogether. He went through a traumatic week. Nobody was aware of the fact that his wife had had a tumor removed from her thyroid, and there was some concern that it might have been malignant. He played a football game under those conditions, never said a thing about it, endured all the booing, all the talk show criticism, everything in the world, and learned Thursday night that the tumor, thankfully, is benign. His wife is fine, and things seem to have turned considerably for the better for that young man. Having a great football game this afternoon. His team about to go up 21-7.
Well, he certainly deserves to have a nice day today. The officials are apparently disputing or trying to figure out if that was indeed a touchdown on Malone's run. They're going to go up and take a look at it in the replay booth. One thing about Malone, I've known him for a few years, and he doesn't really talk that much. Malone, here you see coming out of the pocket again.
After further review, there is no touchdown. The ball will be knocked.
Now, that's one play I disagree with because Malone got into the end zone by virtue of touching the flag. He touched the pin at the corner of the end zone, and that's basically all you need to do is touch that pin. And here you see Malone. He dives, he stretches out. He's in the end zone. The ball is across.
He's inside the flag.
That's right. He's inside the flag, and the ball has crossed the end zone.
Chuck Noll is absolutely irate.
And he has every right to be right now.
They're going to have to calm him down. Well, if they're looking at the same replay that we're looking at, I don't see how they can make that call.
Yeah.
So it'll be 1st and goal at the half-yard line. Take the 6 points away from Pittsburgh. It is not a touchdown. It is 1st and goal at the half-yard line. Frank Pollard with no trouble whatsoever. Pollard around the left side, the half yard and the touchdown. And so all you need to do is make a statistical change. It still goes on the board to 6 for the Steelers.
Well, the reason they disallowed that touchdown by Malone is his knees apparently had touched the ground before the ball had crossed the end zone. And if that's the case, we can agree with it. But there's no doubt about this one. Frank Pollard comes around, gets a nice block from Abercrombie, runs over Jackie Shipp into the touchdown.
Gary Anderson's extra point out of Harry Newsom's hold is perfect. And so with 27 seconds to go in the half, the Pittsburgh Steelers have moved out to a 21-7 lead over the Miami Dolphins, and Frank Pollard accepting the congratulations. There's a young man who needed it too. He's had some injury problems. There was some concern during the offseason whether he'd ever play football again, but he has come back, worked hard during training camp, and has come back. And that is his first touchdown since December of 1985. And fast Frankie Pollard's got to feel good today.
You know, I think the Dolphins are being surprised by the Iron Curtain, like they say, is back. I think the Iron Curtain is indeed back.
No, it's the Steel Curtain. The Iron Curtain's over in Europe somewhere.
That's the wrong place. We can't go over that. That's too far away. You're right. The Steel Curtain is making a comeback, at least here today. They have stymied this Miami offense. The turnovers, the big plays on offense by the Steelers. The Miami Dolphins are going to have to come out in the second half fired up.
You saw the scoring drive. Mark Malone's stats today. He has thrown a little more than perhaps normal. Malone likes to throw 18, 20 times a game. He has thrown 13 already here in the first half for 75 yards, having completed 7 of them, and the 1 touchdown pass of 10 yards to Charles Lockett. So the Steelers, surprisingly, on a windy day like this with swirling wind conditions on the floor of Joe Robbie Stadium, you might suspect that they would come away from the passing game, but instead they've stepped it up just a little bit, and they have done it successfully, obviously. Anderson to Stratford and Schwades. To Bruce Hardy instead, one of the up men, and he gets to the 35-yard line. And the Dolphins, having used 2 of their timeouts, have but 1 remaining. Greg Carr made the tackle. They have but 1 left here as Marino leads the offense on the field. The only thing about playing Miami is the Dolphins are never out of it. They can be down 31-7 at the half, and with Marino, they're still very much in the football game.
Well, with 21 seconds left in this half, I still would not be surprised if Miami gets into the end zone, or at least gets in position to kick a field goal. I would rather have Marino on my side at this point in the game than any other quarterback I can think of right now.
He's going to get some more points on this side of halftime. He better hurry. And the screen overthrown, intended for Troy Stratford. He had Foster out in front of him. Steelers are claiming that it was a loose football, but obviously it was just an incompleted pass. Merriweather complaining about Roy Foster, who was trying to form that screen, and Danny got kind of a smirk on his face. He cannot be happy with the first half of this game.
Well, he knows that there's always a second half of every game, and that's where games are won or lost, is what happens after halftime, if you can hang on to a lead or cut down a lead.
Mind you, the Dolphins went into the clubhouse at halftime against Buffalo last week, leading 21-3, and they lost the ball game 34-31 in overtime, so you couldn't be any more right. 2nd down and 10. Marino trying to keep it on the line, completes it to Duper at the 45 of Pittsburgh. 8 seconds to play, and the Dolphins stop the clock with their last timeout. Yes, the clock has stopped. 8 seconds to go. Everett had the coverage.
Marino gets nice protection here. I think he wants to go deep, but I still think that he's not sure what that wind is going to do if he puts the ball up there, so he lays it out there on a string once again. Donnie Shell puts a nice jam on Duper outside. He's just going to come down and run the in route. And the way Marino throws the ball, you better catch it or it's going through you. And he puts that one on the line.
Dolphins out of timeouts. 8 seconds to move the ball into field goal range. I would think they have to move it at least 15 yards. Duper looks like he's a little bit uncomfortable, like he took a pretty good lick there.
Well, I'm sure he did. You can't catch very many balls from Marino and expect not to be hit every time you get them.
And the Steelers secondary, the thing they love about Everett is that he punishes receivers. The rookie out of Baylor is absolutely a punishing tackler, although he is only 5'8" and weighs about 180 pounds. Coming up at halftime, part 2 of that exclusive interview with Bo Jackson, plus all the scores and highlights. NFL Live at halftime. That's 8 seconds away. Marino's got to get 15 and get it out of bounds to stop the clock to give Reveiz any chance at a field goal. He completes it in the middle of the field, and the time will expire. They complete the pass to the 25-yard line. The time has expired here in the first half, much to the chagrin and unhappiness of the Miami partisans. They booed the Dolphins when they left the field last Sunday after the game. They booed the Dolphins and Don Shula as they leave here at halftime. And so Miami will have to regroup, trailing here 21-7. The Mark Malone-inspired Pittsburgh Steelers with a 14-point lead will return to Joe Robbie Stadium in just a minute. One touchdown, Dan Marino to Bruce Hardy for the Dolphins. The Steelers, on the other hand, taking advantage of the turnovers by the Dolphins. They've got 2 of them, and they have turned them into touchdowns, Michael.
That's the big key right now, Sam. The Dolphins have given the ball to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And like you said, the Steelers have made every advantage. They've taken every advantage of it. They turned in 2 scores, and they've got a 3rd score on the board. They need to get something going offensively, or they're going to be blown out of this game.
You look at the time of possession. Miami has held the ball for nearly 6 minutes more than the Steelers, but it doesn't make any difference if you don't get it in the end zone, I guess.
Well, you can have the ball all day long. If you don't get in the end zone, the other team just plays the ball out, and then they take care of it that way. The Steelers need to keep going and playing the defense that they're playing, letting their offense going. Here we have the stats right here. The first downs, the Steelers only have 9. That shows that they have not been moving the ball very well. And when they do move, they're putting it into the end zone.
So Gary Anderson set to kick off here in the second half. The Steelers leading by a score of 21-7. And this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. The Miami Dolphins needing the football and needing points, trailing by 14 in Anderson's kick. Troy Stratford coming in, collides with Schwades at the 5. Across the 20, still on his feet. And Stratford crawling his way to about the 29-yard line. A very good return by Stratford after colliding with Schwades. Tyrone Stowe is the man who made the tackle, number 90. And so the Dolphins go to work now with Danny Marino at the helm. And you take a look at the times that the Dolphins had the ball in the first half. They gave it away the first time. Steelers got a touchdown. They gave it away the second time. Steelers a touchdown. Miami then finally put one in the end zone. But they expired on downs the 4th time, and then the half interrupted their last drive. Steelers will start the second half without Donnie Shell at strong safety. He suffered a bruised knee in the first half as Stratford gets through a small hole and moves his way out to the 35-yard line. Keith Gary is the man who tripped him up, a gain of about 5 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 5. So the Steelers now suffering what could amount to a very sizable loss in the secondary, having to go with Chris Sheffield, number 41, at the strong safety position instead of Donnie Shell. 2nd down and 5, Miami. Bennett on a wing to the right. This crowd is almost hushed, Michael. Stratford brings them alive with a brilliant run across the 45, dragged down from behind on the near sideline by Keith Gary, number 92. But Stratford has run very well with the football today. The youngster out of Boston College, a 4th-round draft choice.
He makes a nice run here. It's a wonder he didn't get hurt. In fact, he is on the sideline hurt. He comes around the corner. He has really no place to go. But watch his forearm catch him right in the middle of the face right there. He just gets whacked right across the face mask, and he keeps going. He knows that he's got to keep going through the pain, and he gets out of bounds. You see him being taken off the field right there on the sideline. But he was clobbered across the face mask.
And Lorenzo Hampton had his bell rung in the first half. So now with Hampton sitting on the sideline and Stratford joining him, they're down to 1 running back, and that's Woody Bennett straight ahead into Pittsburgh territory on the first down play to about the 47. Gary Dunn, the nose tackle, made the stop, but Woody Bennett and Tom Brown are the only healthy running backs, and Brown isn't so healthy, playing in his first regular season game.
Well, Stratford's coming back on the field. He was just shaken up briefly. He gets back in there, but I'm really quite surprised at how much the Dolphins are relying on the run right now.
It is not characteristic of Dan Marino and his offense. It is 2nd down and 5 now from the Pittsburgh 47-yard line. Marino's first pass of the second half. Over the middle, caught, fumble. The scramble is on, and the Dolphins got it back, but not for first-down yardage. They had the first down on the completed pass,
You know who got that? Marino got that ball back.
Robin Cole is the man who jarred it loose. And a very lucky break for the Dolphins, trailing here 21-7, almost coughed it up again.
That just shows you how competitive Dan Marino is. He stuck his head in there and came out with that ball that time after Robin Cole had lodged it free from Jim Jensen.
3rd down and 3, the ball at the Pittsburgh 45-yard line. This Dolphin offense today bears no resemblance to the one that has been a juggernaut in the NFL since Dan Marino came into the league. And they give to Jensen. They tried it earlier in the game to success. And this time, Jensen to about the 41. He may be close to a first down. We have received word that both Brown and Hampton are out for the day. And so the Miami Dolphins now have but 2 dressed running backs in addition to Jensen. That would be Stratford 23 and Bennett 34. They can play Jensen there, and they did get the first down.
That makes it a long day, especially when you're trying to establish your running game like the Dolphins are doing right now, to have 2 of your better ones on the bench.
They didn't even dress Ron Davenport today because of an ankle injury, so they are really beat up. Play action Marino. Longest pass he's thrown all day. To the 10, the 5. Touchdown Dolphins. You kind of had to wonder what Danny was saving it for. He had not gone long all day long. And he finally gets Mark Clayton.
Mark Clayton is going to run a post pattern, just a slow post, and comes over the middle. The ball's put right on target, makes a fantastic move there, and just his individual effort gets him in there. What set that up was Duper on the opposite side of the football field. He cleared out for Clayton, ran straight down the field. Clayton comes over the middle for the touchdown.
And Reves will attempt the extra point. Don Strock to hold, the backup quarterback. The kick by Reves is up and perfect. 11:56 to go, 3rd quarter, and that is the Dolphin offense. Maybe I awake.
Today's game is brought to you by Michelob. So exceptionally smooth, the night belongs to Michelob. By BMW, the ultimate driving machine. To arrange a thorough test drive, phone your nearest BMW dealer. And by RCA, the most trusted name in electronics.
Michael Jackson, Sam Nover back at Joe Robbie Stadium. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast that with his first touchdown pass today, as you look at the weather conditions, and that wind is really playing havoc with the passers and the punters. 24 miles an hour. But as I mentioned earlier, Marino with his first touchdown pass to Hardy extended to 27 games. His consecutive touchdown streak of passes. That is 3rd to Dave Craig and John Unitas. And this one is out of the field of play by Reves. He only ensured that with a 41-yarder to Mark Clayton to bring the Dolphins back to within 7. But it's a curious thing about Marino. You can keep him in check for 2-3 quarters, but if he gets it going, you better look out. Steelers, possessions in the first half, alternate possessions, touchdowns. They have 1 defensive score today on the Donnie Shell 50-yard return of an interception. And now they got their back to the wall because it's 21-14 and the crowd is back in the game. From the 20-yard line, Abercrombie 34, Jackson 43 behind Malone. And he's got a receiver on the far side, but it's incomplete, intended for Stallworth. William Judson is the man who had the coverage, but you've got to admire the Steelers. They normally are a very predictable offense, but today they're throwing on first down more than I can remember seeing them in recent years.
They certainly have gone away from their game plan or their normal tendencies and started passing the balls. Look at that Kansas City score, 28-14 over Chicago.
Steelers have the Chiefs next Sunday at Arrowhead Stadium, 2nd down and 10. Weegee Thompson in the slot to the left. On the delay, Abercrombie. In the grasp of number 50, Jackie Shipp, nothing there. And the Dolphins defense, maligned, oftentimes beaten, has come alive here in the 3rd quarter, at least on this series.
Jackie Shipp makes an outstanding play right there. He's just going to come up and read the delayed draw to Abercrombie. And the Pittsburgh offensive line has the holes open. The Dolphin defense is just starting to swarm right now. They're all getting to the ball. They are excited.
3rd down and 10. Lockett goes wide to the left. Sweeney to the right, and Stallworth is in the slot to the right. 3rd down and 10, Pittsburgh. Incomplete. He had some pressure. Paul Langford, they blitzed the quarterback that time. Kind of surprised Malone, and he got into his face real early, and the pass was way short of the intended target. And so now with the wind in his face, apparently, I can't judge this wind, but if Revase's kickoff was any indication, the wind is blowing right to left. And so you have to assume Newsom's going to have this in his face, but I don't know, Michael.
By the time he punts the ball, this wind could be blowing right at you and I, Sam. Who knows where it's going?
Schwades is back at his 35-yard line.
You know, this has got to play havoc with the punt returner as well as the kicker.
Good snap. Newsom gets off a super punt. Drives Schwades back to the 27-yard line. And he goes down at the 34. Well, the thing with Schwades is just to hold on to the football. Buddy Idolette was the first man downfield, but after dropping 2 balls and really costing the Dolphins a game last Sunday, he's happy to just hang in there. These bizarre weather conditions continue here in Miami. That punt was 54 yards. As you look at the wind blowing the flag away from the Steelers, Newsom would appear to have had the wind at his back. He punted 54 yards, but on the kickoff before that, Revase kicked it out of the field of the play. So who knows? Marino's got the ball back at his 35-yard line on 1st down, and Stratford getting about 3 to the 38. Troy Stratford, the ball carrier. And getting off the bottom of the pile is Dwayne Woodruff, who has made a great comeback after suffering a broken leg, rehabilitating the leg he suffered the broken leg during a preseason game at Dallas last year, sat out all of last season, has come back and played very steady for the Steelers here in 1987. Gain of 3, 2nd down and 7. Miami trailing 21-14, and Marino again content to keep it on the ground early in the drive, throwing only when he needs to, or when he senses there's an opportunity to get 6 on the board. They pick up the blitz, and he throws the completed pass to about the 43. Stratford, the receiver, they blitzed the safety, Chris Sheffield, on that play, and the Dolphins picked it up.
John Giesler saved Marino's life on that play right there. Marino's going to drop back. He's got his back to the defender, and he's just got Sheffield has a close-in shot at him. Giesler gets out there at the last moment and saves him.
And the Dolphins happy to have Giesler back, by the way. He came back last week from a knee injury. Dolphins have been decimated. They have really been beaten up.
Well, they're happy to have him back, at least for that play.
3rd down at about 1. Stratford, 1st down. Across the 45-yard line as he knifes his way between a couple of tacklers. David Little is the man who made the stop, but not before the Dolphins keep the sticks moving and keep the drive alive. 9:11 to go in the 3rd quarter on a moving clock.
I think what's going on is the Dolphins have decided that they're going to get down and dirty with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to run the ball right down their throat as well as pass it, and they're just going to go guts to guts right now.
Great block by Woody Bennett as he took Greg Carr right out of the play. Just over the 45-yard line. Stratford, his stats on the day so far: 55 yards, 11 carries. Marino, a short drop, fires it, it's intercepted. Robin Cole, who had an interception last year in the 24-20 loss, picks off another one today, and the Steelers' 3rd takeaway from the Miami Dolphins.
Very nice interception by Robin Cole. Very nice interception. Marino's going to drop back. He's got his receivers running a slant pattern. Robin Cole at the bottom of your screen is getting out to get in his position. He comes right in front of Mark Clayton. Just perfect positioning, picks it off. Can't get on his feet to start running, but who cares? He got the ball, and that's all they worry about anymore.
Some game plan Tony Dungy has put into effect for the Steelers today. Their defensive coordinator, a brilliant young man. Robin Cole had not intercepted a pass between the ones that he took away from Danny Marino. 1985, the one that he took from Marino in the Orange Bowl, and this one today, his last 2 interceptions. Jackson straight ahead to about the 45-yard line, as the Steelers now content to use the double tight end, both Young and Lee in there, and trying to shove the football down the throat of the Miami Dolphins. The Steelers protecting a 7-point lead. 8:20 to go, 3rd quarter.
This game may go down to one of those last part of the 4th quarter games. both teams are going to start running the ball now. The Pittsburgh Steelers are trying to control the ball. The Dolphins want to go deep.
Second down and 5. That is Sweeney in motion. Misdirection to Jackson. First down and more as he crosses midfield to the Dolphins' 48-yard line. Stopped there by William Judson, number 49, the 6-year veteran out of South Carolina State. But the Dolphins are getting beat up front. That offensive line of the Steelers with Penny and Ilkin at the tackles and Wolfley and Terry Long at the guards, and the perennial All-Pro Mike Webster, the center, doing the job out there.
As long as the Steelers can open up those holes, they're going to keep running, too. You can believe that one.
From the 49-yard line, that's where they say he was down. Abercrombie in motion. Malone arches one, and it's dropped at the 40-yard line, but a flag is down. There may be some interference here against Paul Langford. Or is it a possibility of offensive interference?
I think because it was such a delayed flag, that's going to be offensive.
They got John Stallworth doing something, pushing off before the pass.
Usually when the official throws a late flag in the defensive secondary, it's going to be against the offensive player. He's got to make sure.
Number 82, offensive pass interference, still first down.
And they did catch the 14-year veteran doing something dirty downfield.
I can't believe he really does that. Stallworth?
Never, huh?
Not John. Stallworth now the 15th leading receiver all time in the National Football League. Went over the 500 mark a couple of weeks ago. George Little replaces Bosa, defensive end. It is 1st and 20 now for Pittsburgh back at its own 41-yard line. Jackson straight up the gut to about the 45. Piled up there by the center of the defensive line, Brian Soche, the nose tackle, in his 5th year now out of Northwestern Oklahoma State. Jackson for about 4. It'll be 2nd down and 16.
Offerdahl is playing an outstanding game defensively for the Dolphins. He's sitting in the middle of your screen. Number 56 takes on the blocker. Although he gets in late on the tackle, what he did was stack up that hole and make sure that everybody else could get there.
Ernest Jackson only 26 yards on 9 carries today. In the first 3 Steeler victories of their 4, he rushed for over 100 yards all 3 times, but he is not near 100 today. Here's the screen. Jackson. It's wide open over there. And they clear it out down to the 30-yard line before he steps out of bounds.
Oh, my goodness.
What a great call as they cleared it out down the far sideline, and Ernest Jackson setting up the screen, stepped out at about the Miami 32, and the Steelers get another first down.
They've tried to run this 3 or 4 times today, and this time it works perfectly. This is the way you want it to work. They have an all-out blitz on. You see 3 offensive linemen out there and no defenders, and they're just going upfield taking people out. Ernest Jackson steps out of bounds. He could have picked up another 5 yards, but why?
Ray Penny, Craig Wolfley out in front of him. 23 yards on the play. The Steelers set up shop now at the Miami 32-yard line. Steelers offense has been very impressive today. Jackson losing a couple of yards.
Offerdahl again.
Speaking of being impressive.
That's right. Offerdahl, he's reading the trap plays very nice for the defense of the Dolphins. He is really charging in there, making the big plays, just like that one right there. And they really need someone like him to come to the forefront right now.
Just can't block him today.
No, he's out there all by himself. If he reads the block right, then he's got a clean shot at the running back, and he's making the good tackles, which is more important yet.
Loss of 2 yards. 2nd down and 12 now at the Miami 34-yard line with Weegee Thompson, the receiver on the left. Double tight end situation. Steelers have used it a lot today. Abercrombie. Maybe back to the original line of scrimmage. Brzezinski is the man who made the stop this time. So it'll be 3rd down at about 10 as we check scores again around the National Football League on the 10-minute ticker. Kansas City in a for real victory perhaps over the Bears. Redskins having a big day at Buffalo.
The Raiders are struggling with New England.
How about Tampa Bay? It's a pretty good football team on the come. And Cincinnati leading Houston in the defensive struggle at Riverfront. It is 3rd down and 10. The Steelers now with 3 receivers. Malone to the short man over the middle. Merrill Hodge, he is shy of the first down. getting about 6 yards on the play, and he is stopped at about the 27-yard line. So they'll be shy of the first down, and I presume Gary Anderson will come on now to attempt a field goal.
Malone has another blitz on him. He sits in the pocket real nice, and he finds the open man. He's got to take what the Dolphins are going to give him, and he takes Merrill Hodge underneath. The Steelers aren't as effective when they go outside as they are when they run that trap in the middle.
44-yard attempt for Anderson. He is 3 out of 4 between 40 and 50 yards. There's the placement, the kick. It looks perfect. It is perfect. Gary Anderson, a 44-yard field goal right down the heart of the goalpost. And so the Steelers now back on top by 10 as they thwart a Miami drive and add 3 of their own. We'll be back. Sam Nover and Michael Jackson back in Miami. I wanted to say Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen, but I just knew they'd know differently. I just
Somehow they would. Somehow they would. That wouldn't work with us.
Steelers fighting a streak here. You know, they've never won in Miami other than Super Bowls. They can't win a regular season game in this town, but they lead at 24-14. They are 0 for 5 in the Orange Bowl other than Super Bowl, in which they beat Dallas twice.
This could be the end of a jinx for the Steelers this year.
Stratford coming back to the 27-yard line with that one. And Cornell Gowdy, another one of the replacement players who made this club on the special teams, made the stop.
Steelers are 0-5 in Miami during the regular season, and right now that looks like they're going to be 1-5.
My. Of course, Don Shula has had the better of that man, Chuck Noll, over the years. 7-3 lifetime is Shula's record against Chuck Noll.
Well, they know each other well.
Oh, boy. And cut out of the same mold. Great teachers, disciplinarians. First down. Marino with some play action throws it short of his intended receiver, Bruce Hart. He just kind of threw that one into the ground.
Well, he threw that so that he would not be sacked. He got some pressure into his face right away, and he just wanted to get rid of the ball.
Keith Willis, number 93, causing him some troubles. Marino now with 2nd down and 10, trying to regroup his offense. He's got plenty of time. 4:04 to go here in the 3rd quarter. The conditions certainly less than ideal. Both Michael and I talked to Danny down in the field before the game, asking him, you know, what's this going to do? And he said, how do I know? It's the only 2nd time I ever played in this building. I have no idea what this wind is doing. Well, he found out firsthand, didn't he? Throws a nice pass to Stratford up at the 33-yard line, and he's knocked back by David Little and also Mike Merriweather, number 57. But that will be shy of a first down. It'll be 3rd down and a long 3 now for Miami.
David Little, who grew up here, is having a quiet game but consistent. You see him in the middle of your screen, number 50, just playing his own, falling back, reading Marino's eyes and getting to Stratford before anyone else does. He makes a nice tackle.
And the Steeler defense continues to keep Marino off balance. Again, they blitz their strong safety, Chris Sheffield, on that play. Well, so Marino's seeing things, pardon me, Michael, that he just hasn't seen in the films before.
That's exactly true, and I don't think Shula knew what to expect either.
Steelers look like they've given him a first down here. Gerald Williams, 2nd-year nose tackle out of Auburn, who alternates a lot with Gary Dunn at that nose tackle position, might be guilty of encroachment. It'll be a Dolphin first down, so they don't have to earn it.
That's an easy way to get 5 yards if you're the Dolphins. You see, he's just a little bit too anxious. He wants to get in there. The Dolphins are in a passing situation now. Willis jumps off sides. He's going to get Marino and whomever else is in the way.
That was Williams, and I guess if I were looking Dwight Stevenson eyeball to eyeball, I'd want to get a jump on him too.
Oh, without a doubt.
So Marino has the first down now across the 37-yard line. The Dolphins trailing 24-14. 7-point favorites coming into the game. They've never lost a regular season game to Pittsburgh in Miami. Stratford trying to get outside at the 40. He's got a first down, and he just took on the tackler, Delton Hall, and they exchange elbows after the play. A couple of hard-nosed football players, both rookies. Delton Hall out of Clemson, Troy Stratford out of Boston College, and there's some finger pointing. But they met each other head on.
That's right. Now we're having some real football. We've got a new blocking hero on this play, Dan Marino. Watch Dan Marino after he hands this ball off. They got a blitz coming in there. Marino lays down, puts the block on, gives Stratford a chance to get outside, and here comes Roy Foster and everybody else at you in your house. But watch this hit right here. Stratford just lifts him up off the ground.
We're back live. 50-yard line, 2 tight ends. First down, Miami. Nothing there for Woody Bennett. He is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Gerald Williams, number 98. No gain. Second down and 10.
Right about now, I think the Dolphins are a little bit frustrated. They're not scoring as freely and as often as they would like to, or as they have become accustomed to over the years that Marino has been here. They're just going to have to be patient, take what the Steelers are giving them. Sooner or later, they'll put it into the end zone.
His 250th regular season victory is what he's looking for. He's got 265, including playoffs, Super Bowls, and things like that. But he's been sitting on 249 now for 2 weeks. And it looks like it's in jeopardy here in the 3rd straight week. Wide open. That's Duper. That's a Miami touchdown, I think. It is. What a positively electrifying offense this is that Danny Marino conducts here in Miami. I mean, you seem to have them stop. You can depress them, have them back on their heels, and one play, and they're in the end zone.
Mike Merriweather is not really covering Duper. He's just trying to hold him up. But there's nobody in the middle of the field. Merriweather forces him to the middle, and then nobody comes over to help. And consequently, they score an easy touchdown.
The 29th time in young Dan Marino's magnificent but young career that he has thrown for 3 touchdowns in 1 game.
Well, he's thrown for 3 in every game he's played in this year.
He's a remarkable quarterback. Reve's trying to make it 21, and he does. So the Dolphins are now back to within 3. We have 1:56 to play in this quarter, and then the entire 4th quarter. And the Steelers are playing about as well as they can play. They are clinging tenaciously to a 3-point lead. We'll be back.
This evening.
Year and Duper's 4th touchdown catch.
Not bad statistics. Duper just runs unmolested all the way across the field in for the touchdown. What made that possible? Roy Foster, Dwight Stevenson, and Tom Toth. They all put up some beautiful blocks up front.
13 touchdown passes for Danny in 3.5 games. From the goal line, Dwight Stone doesn't reach the 20-yard line. An excellent special teams play by Renee Thompson, number 24. And the Steelers, hanging on to this 3-point lead, now must start deep in their own territory. Scores from around the league. The Bears get a field goal, cut the advantage to 11. New England staying out on top of the Raiders. And the Redskins in a laugher at Buffalo tonight, or today rather. Indianapolis with Eric Dickerson continuing to beat the Jets. Tampa Bay looking better each week. And the Bengals now starting to pull away from Houston. New Orleans has an easy game. The crowd is in this one. 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line for Pittsburgh. Pollard for 6 yards. Right through the heart of the defense. John Bosa hanging on for dear life. And the Steelers now using the twin tight ends with Lee and Young, trying to wedge out some room.
Well, those were 6 tough yards, but Pollard ran up there and hit it in there real hard, real tough, picked up the 6. One thing about the touchdown pass from Marino to Duper, that sets the tempo for the special teams. They come out, they make a big play on special teams. They start this drive at their own 15-yard line.
2nd down and 4 at the 21. Pollard 30 and Jackson 43 behind Mark Malone. Pollard got the 1st down. Well, that's a good way to quiet the crowd real quick. To the 27-yard line. Tackle made by Jackie Shipp and T.J. Turner. 50 and 95 respectively, but the Steelers in 2 running plays get the 1st.
Well, they're pulling their offensive line, running that trap again, running straight up in the middle, and Jackie Shipp comes over, but he's a little bit too slow getting there. They get the 1st down, and that goes back to what I was saying. The Steelers are more effective running the ball straight upfield as opposed to sideways.
Abercrombie replaces Pollard now at running back in the pro set. Walter in motion. Malone fumbles the ball and picks it up. Throws one. It's incomplete, intended for Abercrombie. Malone dropped the snap, picked it up, and threw the pass. The incredible thing about the Steelers is that they have fumbled the ball 18 times this year, and they have lost it only twice. So they're very fortunate in getting back their own fumbles.
Well, that's one big part of this game is the turnover ratio. The Steelers are +10 now in this game. but Malone makes a nice play getting the ball back.
It bounced right off Terry Long's left leg.
Sometimes you have to be lucky.
Very lucky. 2nd down and 10. Play action pass. And the screen. They are not fooled this time. Jackie Schiff was sitting right there, just keen on Ernest Jackson, and the Steelers lose a couple of yards on the screen.
Very well read. Very well read. They had him fooled on that one play that broke for 23 yards, but Jackie Schiff, like you said, was there that time, read the play, stayed with everybody, and made the play for no gain.
So the Steelers now will have some time to talk about a 3rd down and 14 situation. We have a binder, NBC's doubleheader football next Sunday, beginning with NFL Live at 12:30. Those are our 1 o'clock games. The Raiders go to Minnesota. Steelers will move on to Kansas City. Chiefs beating the Bears today. And then at 4 o'clock, second half of the doubleheader, these Dolphins at Cincinnati, and the Oilers will be at San Francisco. 3rd down and 14 as we begin play here in the 4th quarter. 6 defensive backs by the Dolphins. Malone throwing underneath the coverage, incomplete, intended on the far side for Merrill Hodge, the rookie out of Idaho State. Malone just simply could not get him the football. And so Newsome will have to punt to Scott Schwades now as we begin play in the 4th quarter, with the Steelers holding on to that 3-point lead at 24-21.
Well, we're coming down to shootout time right now, and whoever wants it, boys, is going to go and get it. So,
and it's still very difficult to determine who has the wind advantage.
I don't think there is an advantage in the wind right now. I think whoever runs the ball the best for this final 14 minutes, whoever controls the ball, basically whoever comes up with the ball last is going to win this game, Sam.
Newsome's last punt, 51 yards. This time the rush is on, and they tip the ball. They deflected the ball. It takes a Pittsburgh bounce across the 40 to about the 45, maybe 46-yard line. Somebody got a hand on that football. Langford and McNeil were both there in Newsome's face. But the Dolphins end up with excellent field position.
The snap pulls the punter over just a little bit to his right, disrupting his time. I think Langford may have gotten that, or McNeil may have also.
Somebody was inside both of them. Was that? Who is that?
I don't know who that is.
54. And that would be Larry Kolick, a backup linebacker, second-year man out of Ohio
He may have gotten a hand on that. In fact, I believe he would be the one, yes.
You'd want to give it to him. He's a linebacker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Linebackers do everything,
They do everything. They do it all better, too.
So Miami set up at the 46-yard line of the Steelers now, looking for a go-ahead score. Marino wasting no time. 1st down. Stratford out of bounds inside the 35-yard line, and Troy Stratford is a very impressive rookie.
Well, he's starting to take the ball straight upfield once he makes the catch. He turns around, and his first movement is straight upfield, getting the positive yardage. And that's what you like to see your receivers do. Marino's got the good protection again, no pressure put on him, looks downfield, throws underneath again. Stratford turns, makes one move, and he's straight upfield. He wants positive yardage right now. That's all they're interested in.
1st down, Dolphins at the Steeler 34. Michael mentioned excellent protection for Marino. It just under John Sandusky, rather, the offensive line coach, this has just been an outstanding offensive line. He wants it all. He's got it. Touchdown, Dolphins. Wait. The 10th time in Danny Marino's career that he scored, thrown for 4 touchdowns in one game. Mark Clayton's 2nd touchdown catch of the day. And the first Miami lead of the afternoon.
Marino's getting pressure from the outside by Chris Sheffield. He's throwing the ball, and Dwayne Woodruff hasn't even seen the ball coming. He never had his shot on. He never had a chance on Clayton that time.
Reve's trying to make it 28, and he does. And the brilliance of that play by Marino, Michael, is that he picked up the safety blitz by Sheffield.
He picked it up all by himself. Sheffield was not blocked. He ran in there untouched, and he lobbed the ball up there. Clayton makes a catch for the touchdown.
We'll be right back.
Today's game is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Tandy Computers, because there is no better value, only at Radio Shack. And by Liberty Mutual, for your personal insurance, business insurance, and financial service needs.
The correct something I said. I am now told that it was the 14th time that Danny Marino has thrown 4 touchdown passes in one game. I was led to believe it was his 10th. What difference does it make? He is just one exceptional quarterback. Seems to be no doubt that that young man is the premier quarterback in the National Football League and will be, barring injury, for some time to come. Well, the wind is still playing havoc down there. Blows the tee and the ball over again. Half the Miami team is downfield ready for the kickoff. You know, Marino is there. You see Clayton celebrating his second touchdown reception of the day. But Marino is one outstanding athlete. He started out so terribly today, throwing the ball. His first pass, I believe, was picked off and run back for a touchdown. And he's now thrown basically 5 touchdown passes today, but 4 to his team. Just one outstanding quarterback. They have started the wave here at the Joe Robbie Stadium, which is a very impressive facility. Needless to say, Stone fumbling the ball, and he's going to come out with it. Actually, he muffed the ball, and he could have stayed right there, and he gets back to the 18-yard line. He could have stayed right there on the muff of the kickoff and gotten the 20-yard line. He elected to come out with it. Young Dwight Stone is a rookie for the Pittsburgh Steelers and a free agent out of Middle Tennessee State. As it turns out, it didn't turn out that bad that he came out of the end zone. He only lost maybe a yard, but he almost got outside of everybody right here. I think if he had tried harder to get outside, he may have made a big play out of that turn. Steelers like him a lot, Michael. He's got 4.4 speed, and he has gotten better each week. And he played considerably more from scrimmage last week than he had previous to that. Jackson and Abercrombie in the I formation behind Malone is going to throw it. Wide open. Incomplete, intended for Stallworth as it fell a good 5 yards shy of him. I don't know, Malone seems to be short-arming the ball all of a sudden. His passes are coming up short on the past 2 or 3 attempts that he's had. Something's not right. He looked at his cleats after that ball was thrown. Maybe he's slipping a little bit. He also had John Bosa in his face. That has something to do with it, too. He has not thrown for a lot of yardage today. 10 out of 20, 50%. He has been a 39% completion quarterback, so he's playing better than he has in the past. And coming off, as I said, a very good fourth quarter against Cincinnati, in which he rallied his team to victory. Abercrombie gets outside. Good hard run by Abercrombie. It was closed down in the middle, and he took it outside and picked up 7 yards before Bud Brown, the free safety, knocked him down. Outstanding individual effort. Abercrombie, like you said, hit up in the middle. You see Malone on the short delay. Once again, the trap. He hits in the middle and then bounces it outside and makes about 9-8 yards that time. I think the Steelers need to stick to their game plan. Go back to running the ball. That's what they do, and that's what they do well. That's how they got the 24 points. Don't change a thing right now. Give him 8 yards on the carry. It is now 3rd down and 2. Big possession play for Pittsburgh. Over the middle, wide open. Good catch by Abercrombie of the excellent hands. Offerdahl is the man who made the stop, but another Pittsburgh first down, and Malone's got his offense moving now, piece by piece at the 37-yard line. An excellent possession pass to Walter Abercrombie. Abercrombie circles out of the backfield. Malone just dumps the ball over to him. Actually, Rick Graff makes the play on that one, and they are high. The Dolphins are really high on Rick Graff, too. He's going to be pushing Brzezinski for a job soon. This game has been remarkably penalty-free. Of course, from Miami, you'd expect it because year in and year out, Shula's team has the fewest amount of penalties in the league. This year, I believe they're tied for second. Pittsburgh doesn't necessarily have that kind of track record, but there have been very few penalties in the game. So we've got a timeout on the field. There is 12:51 to go in regulation. The Dolphins lead at 28-24, but Pittsburgh is on the march. Danny Marino unofficially 21 out of 27, 278 yards, to 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Malone, on the other hand, 10 out of 21, 111 yards, the 1 touchdown and no interceptions. And the turnover story is a factor. It enabled the Steelers to get out to the early lead. It is 1st and 10 Pittsburgh up at the 37-yard line, still in Steeler territory. The Steelers trying to work on the clock, but more importantly, get the lead back. Intercepted and dropped. Judson and Stallworth had simultaneous possession for a brief moment, and then the ball fell to the ground. Well, you can give John Stallworth a lot of credit on that. He got his hands back in there and made sure that Judson didn't hang on to that one. Malone's going to drop back here. He gets fair protection. They're running
games on the inside on him, but he gets the ball out there and it just hangs just a little bit, and that might again be because of the wind. Judson makes a nice break on the ball. He gets his hand in there, but Stallworth stays in there and fights it out of there.
Mind you, this Miami defense is next to last in the entire National Football League against the pass. Malone's going to throw it again on 2nd and 10. Intercepted. Bud Brown, I believe, at the 38-yard line of Miami. No, make it Blackwood. Glenn Blackwood, number 47, the 9-year veteran out of Texas. And Malone's first interception of the day may prove to be his most costly.
It just may do that. He had Walter Abercrombie lined up out there once again. He pumped the ball in there. Blackwood didn't bite on the pump fake, and the ball was simply underthrown. It was simply underthrown. It's no one's fault but Malone's on that one. And unfortunately, because we had such a great game going, now it's up to the Steeler defense to get that ball back. And if anybody can, they can.
First turnover of the day for the Steelers. It couldn't come at a more inopportune time. Now Marino to go to work. Not much for Stratford as he bumps into David Little at the 41-yard line. He'll pick up about 4. Looked like he had a world of room to run, Michael. But Little showed up, and that ended that.
It's an outstanding play by David Little. Again, Marino's content to go with the little swing pass, get a few blockers out in front of the receiver. But David Little, like we said, made an outstanding play to sort his way through and meet up with Troy Stafford again.
Duper goes wide to the left, and James Pruitt, number 82, is to the bottom of your screen. 2nd down and 7. Stratford, a big day, over 110 yards total offense today. 43 on the ground, 68 on the ground, 43 in receptions. The rookie out of Boston College. Marino looking at one receiver, and he's wide open. It's Pruitt at the Steelers' 37-yard line. Sheffield is the man who made the stop, but Marino is now starting to pick him apart.
James Pruitt runs downfield. Marino is looking his way all the way, finds him in a dead zone between Woodruff and Sheffield. And Pruitt just sets down right there, makes the catch, and gets upfield for a few extra yards.
22 yards, first catch of the day for James Pruitt. And now the Dolphins moving on the Steelers. The Steeler defense with 13 interceptions, leading the National Football League, desperately need one now. 28-24 Miami, leading and looking for more. 3 seconds on the 30-second clock, and Danny is mad. Couldn't get Stratford in the right position, had to use a timeout.
Well, he and Bennett are having words as he exits the field to talk to Don Shula, and they're not very happy with each other in that backfield.
Excuse me, Michael, did I just see him say my problem? Were those his words? Maybe it was Marino who was at fault, because I saw after he jawed with Stratford, Woody Bennett said something to him, and I thought I saw Marino go, my problem. Whatever, timeout. We'll be right back.
Week on Late Night, Tony Bennett and Joe Cocker, but not together. Jacqueline Bissett and Jane Fonda, but not together. And Steve Martin to start off the week.
Well, there's no doubt that's what Danny was saying as he walked off the field and patted his own chest, and he said, my fault.
Yep.
Back to live action. Marino now with 1st and 10. Short pass to Woody Bennett, trying to get to the 30-yard line, but David Little will have none of that. Little's played a great game. Also in on the play is Keith Gary, number 92. Shy of the 30-yard line, very short yardage. It'll be 2nd down. Well, it's not so short. Line of scrimmage was the 37. They get the ball down to near the 31. A 6-yard pickup by Marino and his running back, Woody Bennett. 2nd down at 4. Gary Dunn comes off the field. Gerald Williams on at nose guard. Stratford skipping inside the 30 to about the 27. He might be a bit shy of a 1st down. It'll be 3rd down at very short, I believe, for Miami. As they start to work on the clock a little bit, under 10.5 minutes, under Am I reading that right? Exactly 10 minutes to go in the regulation time.
You know, this game is still a long ways away from being over, but it certainly has taken a change in tone. We started out with the Pittsburgh Steelers just dominating the first half of play, and now we've come back to this point to where the Dolphins are doing what they want. Speaking of comebacks, Chicago, you can never count them out.
And the Jets coming back at Indianapolis. We have word that Eric Dickerson has carried the ball 9 times for 32 yards in that ball game and has fumbled once. You be the judge. Not of that, but of Eric Dickerson.
That's perfect.
Yes.
That's perfect. They were a little bit short on the first down there. It's 3rd down and inches.
Stratford has been the money man today. 13 carries, 71 yards. 52,578 in the building, although they sold more than 62,000 tickets for it. That's why the blackout was lifted here in South Florida. 3rd down and inches, Miami. Play action. Marino wants it all. He didn't get it all, but he's got Pruitt for a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. Delton Hall had the coverage, but Pruitt got himself free. Great play action pass by Marino.
That just goes to show that the Dolphins don't think this game is over yet because they want to put another one on the board. They run a play action fake in there. Wasn't a very good fake, but everybody was so crowded in there, it gave James Pruitt a chance to break over the middle and be wide open. The Steelers obviously were playing the run.
This is the 24th time that Dan Marino has thrown for over 300 yards in a game. What a day he's had. 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. His team leads at 28-24. Stays on the ground. Stratford, touchdown. Miami.
That gives Miami a little bit of breathing room right now. They still have over 9 minutes to play. The way that Pittsburgh has played the first half and maybe part of the second, they still have an opportunity to come back, but they have to stay within their game plan and get back in there. Troy Stafford, watch these moves. Little skeeter bug moving in there to the right, to the left, and then straight up the middle, underneath everybody, basically, for the touchdown.
Great blocking up front. Tom Toth, the right guard. Dwight Stevenson, maybe the best center in the game. Roy Foster, the left guard. Made it easy for Stratford, who dived the rest of the way in. Reve's kick is up and good, and the Miami Dolphins have outscored the Pittsburgh Steelers 28-3 here in the 3rd quarter and a little bit of the 4th quarter. Went into the locker room trailing 21-7. I would pay a king's fortune to hear what Don Shula had to say there, because they certainly have turned it around.
I kind of doubt that you would want to hear what Shula said to them at halftime. Maybe you would like to know, but I don't think you'd want to hear what he said.
You know, most people have a deep, dark fantasy hidden away. Well, next Saturday on NBC Sports World, find out what some people only dream about as their playing field fantasies become reality on the best of sports fantasies. San Diego Chicken Lady makes an appearance, and has Chris Everett finally met her match? We'll learn on NBC Sports World next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern Time, right here on NBC. It is 35-24 Miami.
Some of these fans are very confident in what their Dolphins can do, because some of them have started to pack it up and take it home for now.
Stratford with the running touchdown. His first National Football League touchdown. 63 yards on the ground, 46 receiving. A very impressive rookie out of Boston College and a 4th-round draft choice. Dwight Stone at the 12. 25-yard line is all he gets. Stopped there by Scott Nicholas. And I must say, the Dolphins special teams has been a pleasant surprise to Don Shula today. The Steelers have had inordinately more success on returns than they have had today during the course of this year.
Well, anytime you get the big plays like you're getting with the Dolphins offense right now, it's got to inspire your special team. They've got to come down and be more fired up than at the start of the game. And that's why they're getting down so anxiously right now.
So to say that Mark Malone and the Steeler offense has his work cut out for it would be an understatement. They're down by 2 scores, 11 points. 8:51 to play in regulation, and Jackson runs the ball to the 28-yard line. It's what they do best, but it certainly is not the kind of offense for catch-up football.
That goes back to our meeting last night, Sam, when we were sitting with the PR director from the Steelers, and we asked him point blank, what would happen if you guys got behind? Are you set up to come from behind? He said, quite frankly, no, we're not. That's why they got out to that great lead at the start of the game. They want to be out in front.
2nd down, 7, gain of 3. Not a banner day for Jackson, who did not have a big week last Sunday against Cincinnati, rushing for only 39 yards. Complete to Abercrombie up across the 35. He will be close to a first down. It depends on the spot. But the Steelers not only battling the Dolphins, which I think they probably can do. The Dolphins have done nothing today defensively to indicate that they can't be scored on a couple of more times. But there's a Steeler offense geared to scoring 2 touchdowns and then stopping Marino.
If Malone can get the ball to his receivers, if he follows through with his passing motion, then he's going to get the ball there. And if he can do that, he's going up against one of the poorest pass defenses in the league. The Dolphin defense ranks number 23 overall.
27th. They're second to last, Michael. They are second to last in the league.
Second to last in pass defense. Overall defense, yes. They are ranked number 23rd. They're 16 against the run. The Steelers can run against them, but if they can pass, they'll have even more effectiveness against them.
As you saw, less than a yard, 2 tight ends, Danzel Lee, 84, and Theo Young, number 80. Young is a rookie out of Arkansas, taken on the 12th round. Made the team. They cut Lee. Then Lee they hired back as a replacement player, and he now starts ahead of Theo Young, who beat him in training camp. You figure it out. 3rd and less than a yard. That's Young. And that's Jackson. And that's a first down to the 38-yard line, maybe the 39.
I still say
Offerdahl and Langford making the stop.
I still say the Steelers are more effective. They're getting more yardage if they run straight up the field as opposed to going towards the sidelines. All they're doing there is wasting a little bit of time that they don't really have at this point in the game, and taking the opportunities or the chance that they may fumble the ball.
7:15 to go in regulation time. 35-24 Miami. The Steelers led 21-7 at the half, believe it or not. Wide open and out of bounds, stopping the clock. Calvin Sweeney, a first down inside the 50-yard line at about the Miami 47.
I think what's going on now is the Steelers are finally hearing what we're saying, that you can pass against this other team, guys. You can go out there and you can throw the ball. They're ranked number 27. Calvin Sweeney catches the ball on the sideline. There's nobody 3 yards close to him.
Paul Langford made that play, but John Offerdahl has made 9 tackles in his first game of the season, and you wonder how this defense even survives without him. Might be procedure. Looked like Abercrombie was leaning as Jackson takes the ball straight ahead on the dive, stopped by Mike Lambrecht, number 69, a free agent, and one of the 3 replacement players who is dressed today. Is there a flag? There is indeed, and it's got to be motion by Abercrombie.
You know, one person we haven't seen today.
Motion, number 34, defense. Still offense, correction, offense. Still first down.
Abercrombie just a little bit too anxious. You'll see him at the top right of your screen. He's not set for that 1 full second before the ball is snapped. As I was going to say before we started this, Mark Brown is filling in for Hugh Green, and we haven't seen Hugh at all this week. He's on the sideline. He is healthy, but they've decided that he's not got the speed and mobility that they need right now.
First down and 15 now for Pittsburgh. Malone pumps, lets it fly, got a man. Tipped and almost caught. It was intended for Lockett. Bud Brown was back there and may have gotten a hand on it. It was tipped by somebody for sure.
It was tipped by William Judson.
49.
And he made a diving save. They're just going down there. Judson's got they both have their eye on the ball all the way.
No,
that was Brown, wasn't it? They switched places when they hit the ground.
Well, we got a great spotter over here, Bo McComas. He doesn't miss a trick. I want to tell you that. I'm sitting there screaming Judson with you, and he's pointing. He's got his finger on Bud Brown. He knew all along.
Oh, there's one disappointed man, Charles Lockett.
2nd and 15. Over the middle, dropped this time by Abercrombie. And he had some running room.
he definitely had first down yardage in front of him, and Offerdahl was on the coverage there.
Yeah, his teammates are congratulating him, but Offerdahl did nothing there to save the play. If Abercrombie had caught the ball, I have a feeling he might have gotten away for a sizable gain.
He sure would have.
So on 3rd and 15 now, the Steelers really with their backs to the wall. 6.5 minutes to play in regulation. They're down by 11. Malone is 15 out of 28, 132 yards.
He's put a couple of the last passes right on target. It's just his receivers have dropped one and the other one was knocked away at the last moment.
This is not an ideal conversion situation for 3rd down. They got him. Fumble. Steelers have the ball, but it won't be for long because on 4th down they'll have to kick it away. T.J. Turner is the man who jarred him and knocked the ball loose.
That's the 11th sack of the year for the defense. And it came at a big time for them. Malone is dropping back. T.J. is coming from the outside, gets around his man, crushes the quarterback. Craig Wolfley comes back, lays on the ball, but all that does is give the Steelers a chance to punt it away.
So Newsom will have to punt from his own 30-yard line, and again, Scott Schwades, the former Syracuse lad, has got to be enjoying what happened yesterday, being part of a situation that beats Pittsburgh teams twice in 2 days. His Syracuse team beat the Pitt Panthers yesterday, and his Miami Dolphins have a grab on the Steelers' throat right now. Good punt by Newsom. Over Schwades' head and into the end zone it goes. It'll be a touchback. And a punt of 57 yards by Newsom. My math is any good as we check the 10-minute ticker again, and those games have gotten close, haven't they?
They certainly have. Chicago down by 4, the Raiders down by 3 now.
Bills have finally gotten on the board, but that one is all but over. Indianapolis hanging in there against the Jets. Tampa Bay looks like they're going to beat Green Bay. Houston has put one on the board, trying to make Cincinnati a close one. New Orleans, apparently the only sizable rout of the day. Philadelphia and St. Louis getting closer. Marino will begin from his own 20-yard line, and he'll probably try to work on the clock with 5:53 to go in this one. 35-24 the Dolphins. Stratford for about 2 in the grasp of David Little.
David Little still trying to get to the ball. What the Steelers need to do right now is start to reach for that ball, try to strip it out of all the ball carriers' hands. They need a turnover, and if they can get a turnover at this end of the field, then we've got another new game.
You know, it's starting to rain here a little bit. It has rained off and on, and the wind has just been something that's played havoc with the football on occasion. Marino has finally mastered it here in the second half, though I think it's safe to say that.
He certainly has.
2nd down and 8 Miami. On a delay, Stratford is loose in the secondary. First down up around the 35. David Little again. And the Steelers look to be a beaten football team with under 5 minutes to play. You know, I came into this broadcast today already, as you look at it again. I'll hold off, Michael. Go ahead.
Troy Stafford gets the trap block again, breaks it to the outside. He's got some good blocking in front of him. And he's only 1 step away from breaking this for a touchdown. And you see that step is made by David Little. He saves the touchdown there. His numbers on the day: 83 yards rushing, 46 receiving, 139 with 1 touchdown. That's
Big
not
day.
bad.
No, not at all for a rookie out of Boston College, and there's more.
He's adding
got
more.
5,
He
got
may
10.
have 6 this time.
He'll break this one big. He goes down under Dwayne Woodruff, who's just shy of the 50-yard line. But what a day for Troy Stratford. Lorenzo Hampton's got some problems getting his starting job back again, I can tell you that.
He may never get him back. The most impressive thing about this is not the cut that he makes right here, which is an outstanding cut. That one is too, but watch when he gets to the sideline. He just lays down so he doesn't go out of bounds. He doesn't want that clock to stop. He lays down and the clock keeps running.
Cornell Gowdy has come in to replace Chris Sheffield at strong safety for the Steelers. Stratford over 100 yards now in rushing the football. It is first down Miami right on the 50-yard line, and the Dolphins appear to have this one fairly well salted away. Bennett for about a yard. I started to say a moment ago, Michael, I came into this broadcast prepared to tell all the people back in Western Pennsylvania about the Pittsburgh connection. You know, Marino, born and raised, parents still live in Oakland section of the city, went to Pitt. Tom Brown went to Pitt, brother of John Brown, who played with Marino at Pitt. Joel Williams out of Gateway High School, lives in Monroeville. Hugh Green, the former Pitt All-American. Lippert Hobley cut by the Steelers. The only guy who's been a factor in the game has been Marino. Brown got hurt early. Williams didn't dress. Green hasn't played. Hobley hardly has played. So I had to get it in, so I got it in. I feel better.
Now all you Pittsburgh people know that these guys are at least here somewhere.
Right, 2nd down and 6. Stratford. And only a trip by David Little prevented a big, big play.
David Little's been in on the last 3 or 4 plays. He's still playing his heart out, but right now it's to no avail. The Steelers are, like you say, they feel like they're a beaten team, and right now they are. And that's, that's too bad because they played their hearts out today.
Valuable lesson. I mean, you've heard it 100 times. I hate to be trite, but football happens to be a game made up of 2 halves. The Steelers played 1 half and did not play another. And Miami, the same situation. They did not play well at all in the first half, but they have put a second half together here that they can be proud of. Offensively and defensively, Stratford without much. Cornell Gowdy blitzing on the play, caught him behind the line of scrimmage, and this will take us down to the 2-minute warning. Well, the Dolphins walked off the field last Sunday shell-shocked. They had led 21-0 or 21-3 at the half, only to give it all away in the second half and lose in overtime to Buffalo. They played a horrible first half here against Pittsburgh today, but they have made amends with a brilliant second half, and when they walk off today, you can rest assured there will be no boos. We'll be back. On to punt the football, and in single safety is Thomas Everett, and this is the first punt of the day and the first punt of the season for Reggie Roby. This has got to be some kind of record. Punting for the first time in the game in the last 2 minutes of it.
I've never heard of that.
Reggie Roby, who suffered an injury in the opener on his first punt, a sprained right ankle, never got the punt off, is now punting for the first time this season. It's remarkable. They've turned it over a few times, and the Dolphins have either turned the ball over or they've scored points on all of their possessions.
It's not a bad way to play the game, I guess.
Roby almost had it blocked. Skied one, got off an excellent punt. That'll do a lot for his confidence, and even got a Miami bounce. How about that? It was headed for the end zone, and so an interesting commentary on the end of this game. A ball that was dead headed for the end zone took a left turn and came back and died at the 9-yard line of Pittsburgh, and the Steelers will have to go 91 to get another touchdown on the board.
So when it rains in Miami, at least it pours for the Dolphins.
Indeed it does. 34 yards for Roby, but that isn't the important thing. The important thing to him is that he got one off and he hit it good. He had shanked some in practice yesterday, and there was some concern. They were saying he was a little bit shaky in practice, and this will go a long way to improve his confidence in his punting. So Malone now trying to drive his team the length of the field on a delay to Abercrombie, and there's a world to run in there. 15, he's tripped up from behind as he crosses the 15 to about the 18-yard line. William Judson, number 49, I think, trapped him from behind, and the clock continues to run. 1:35 to go. The Steelers just aren't set up to come from behind too many times. I think last week they came from behind, but they may have used it up. Malone throwing one out in the flat at the 20 for the first down. The catch is made, and Stallworth trying to get out of bounds, and he can't get there. Renee Thompson, a second-year man from Baylor, number 24, holding on for dear life. And now the Steelers stop the clock with 1:11 to go. And Malone will go over and have a chat with both Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, and head coach Chuck Noll. And we'll be back in a minute. Have a moment. Let me thank our excellent support crew here in Miami. Our spotters, Bob McComas and Terry Brumfield. Great job, gentlemen. Mean it. Thanks a lot. And our statistician, Ken Lee. And of course, Michael, if I was doing a report card on your broadcasting debut, I'd give you an A today. I'll tell you that. You did a heck of a job, partner. Thank you, Sam. I had one of the best in the business working with me and tutoring me all the way through, and you have been one great asset to myself. I appreciate it. Sounds like we rehearsed that one. Yeah, we did. We got that right at least, huh? Yeah. A little saccharine to me. From the 22-yard line. Abercrombie at the 30. Has some running room. Cross the 35. Another Steeler first down. He goes down in the grasp of backup linebacker David Fry, number 53, and the clock continues to run. Steelers can stop it twice more in their 2-minute offense. They're going to try to put a score up on the board. Caught short by Hodge at the 50-yard line. And he will have another Steeler first down, and the Steelers quickly call a timeout, I believe, and stop the clock with 42 seconds to play. They have one timeout left. Well, if you're looking for a most valuable player today, that doesn't seem to be a lot of question, at least in my mind. You want to vote first?
I think we have to go with Dan Marino.
Can we get the final stats on Marino? I don't think the audience needs it to be justified, but it is time indeed for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser, and today's MVP is number 13, Danny Marino. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVP selected in today's games.
Marino was 25 of 31 for 332 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So Dan Marino had himself one heck of a day today. Started out kind of shaky, though. Then
his leadership ability is almost as large as his talent, as his natural God-given talent.
Yes.
And he just seems like he can walk off the field down 21-7 like he did. And if you're playing with him, you just know that he can bring you back. And a few words from number 13, and they get themselves righted. There's a courageous quarterback, Mark Malone. Gone through a very, very tough week in Pittsburgh, but thank God all's turned out well with his wife, and he's still pitching them. He's got a first down at the 27-yard line to Stallworth, and the Steelers can stop the clock one more time, and they do with 34 seconds to play.
Now, if they get into the end zone in the next, say, 10 seconds, we still have another chance that they may come back and get an onside kick, because it's obvious they're going to do that and have at least one more shot at winning this game. This game is not over yet.
They are at the 26-yard line. You would have to think Malone's got to get one in here now, recover the onside kick, and make a sideline completion and give Anderson at least a chance at tying field goal.
Well,
or in a winning field goal, I beg your pardon. They lead by 11.
No, they need 2 touchdowns.
What am I talking about?
The Dolphins are by 11.
24. That's right. 10 won't do you any good.
But they have a shot at it.
My math has suffered here today, hasn't it?
A little bit. But if they get into the end zone on this next play, then they do have an excellent chance of getting and recovering an onside kick and then going for at least 2 bombs after that. But they can't afford to have the ball stopped in the middle of the field.
Malone 17 out of 32, 199 yards. His stats look better, but don't forget a lot of this has been made against the prevent defense when the outcome of the game was pretty much taken care of. Yeah, a field goal won't do him much good here, will it? Malone has time over the middle. It's incomplete. Well, let's take our time out for our report card check of how these teams did today. The Dolphins report card, you got to give Marino an A+ today. He really brought him back. 25 out of 31. Threw the ball effectively in the first half percentage-wise. Just didn't get him in the end zone but once. And Stratford, of course, had an outstanding afternoon. 158 yards total offense. And for the Steelers, Malone, leadership looked good in the first half. Stats a bit inflated. Abercrombie, not a good day. Stallworth, 1 reception today. He's a negative on the report card. Turnovers were a factor, of course, early on for the Steelers. The defense did the job. There's a completed pass to Calvin Sweeney to the 5-yard line. And the clock continues to run. The Steelers still try to get off another play. Line of scrimmage is a 5-yard line.
You've got to get it in on this play.
Malone throws it into the ground and stops the clock, and that is perfectly legal this year with 10 seconds left. So they'll come out and have time for at least one more play. And I think the only thing that people around the country would be concerned about now is the spot on the game, I guess. So 7 points. Will it end less or more than 7, as they say?
Well, I think it's going to end less than 7. But nonetheless, this game is still not over. I know it seems like it's an optimistic view that I'm taking right now with 10 seconds left. But if they get in the end zone on this play, they have a shot at recovering an onside kick.
As a player, is it not important to at leleast finish the game off in a losing cause with a touchdown?
Oh, yes, it is.
Helps you for next week.
It's very important.
Malone has time, throws it. It's incomplete. He'll have time for another off the fingertips of Calvin Sweeney. That'll stop the clock with 5 seconds. Sweeney was shy of the end zone, and had he caught it, perhaps he wouldn't have gotten in anyway.
I think now you can say that it is over, but you would still like to get into the end zone with 5 seconds left and say, well, time just ran out on us.
Well, this will get Miami back to 500, or get them within one game of 500 at 3-4, and move the Steelers to just one game over 500 at 4-3. Here's your last play of the game. Incomplete. Clock expires. There's no time left. Malone says there was 1 second left and I want my last play, but he won't get it. Don Shula headed for Chuck Noll.
Actually, Shula was headed after one of the referees because the left tackle for the Steelers moved on that play and he didn't call it.
In Indianapolis, with their new running back, Eric Dickerson, is held on to beat the New York Jets today, 19-14. That game, we are told, is a final. So Dickerson already having an effect is Noll and Shula, longtime friends, two of the most respected coaches in the NFL. Exchange congratulations, and Danny Marino's got a lot of friends. He and Mark Malone, arm in arm, headed off the field. They had a lot in common last week. Both were booed. Both suffered the indignation of their fans. But of course, there's a lot and Tunch Ilkin, might I add, and Danny Marino are friends by virtue of the fact that they're very active in the Players Association. Michael, you know a lot about that relationship with both players.
I still do. I'm still active on the Players Executive